Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just a crossover.
It just crossed him over. Nasty. Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Time for the crossover, powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everylevelconcrete.com. Hello, Matt, Josh.
Hi.
What's
how we doing?
going on?
Nothing really. We got nothing to talk about. We got zero topics today.
We didn't discover anything about Matt during the break, that's for sure.
Nope.
I'm just saying, wood
Matt
fire
break.
pizza is a little like, I have a complicated relationship with it.
You have a
because
complicated relationship with socks.
I have I am wearing, look, if they're the same color, that's what I wear. I don't really.
They're not even the same style.
No, they're the same brand. No, they're not the same brand. One's an Adidas sock and one's a Nike sock.
They're not
but
the same
The
really
only
at
thing
all.
same about them is they're white with a black logo.
That's all I need. That's all I'm looking for. If they're the same color, good for me. My black socks are not paired either. Just all the some are Hanes, some are from Dick's Sporting Goods.
What percentage of your life is just on hold until you move?
A lot of it right now.
Okay,
like
I did forget about
a
that.
really good portion of it. I mean, I had a very tough time getting dressed this weekend, and at one point did have to.
There's a sentence.
I had a very tough time getting dressed this weekend.
Yes,
Sound like you were NFL draft analysis.
Things John Bishop said after he shattered his arm.
I had a really tough time getting dressed.
Can you
this
pull that
weekend.
as a clip for sure?
Had to go back into the suitcase to go and find some clothes that I packed that I probably shouldn't have in order for me to look good at a party that I went to over Saturday.
How did your friends enjoy the sleeping on the floor space since you moved your piles?
No, they slept on the bed. They very much
okay.
enjoyed the bed. I have a comfy bed. Tomorrow, though, I have to dismantle.
Wait, you gave your friends the bed? Where did you sleep?
I slept on the couch.
Okay.
Yeah. I have to
be that kind of a host.
Yeah. I mean, my couch is very comfy, though. I sometimes just sleep on my couch to sleep on the couch. It's a very nice couch.
He's making a face.
No, I was scratching.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, it's a couch night. I'm gonna sleep on the couch tonight. Just switch it up, you know.
So the thing that we discovered about Matt during the break, which I don't know that this is that uncommon, but it just feels like it's very you.
Okay.
Matt told us that every time he eats a meal, he has to be full to the point of near explosion.
Yeah.
Very American.
Yeah.
Isn't that what almost happened on air in the crossover?
Yes.
Yes.
You
were
almost did happen.
You were lamenting that when you went to a
very good place.
A pizza place made with very healthy ingredients, that you were dismayed because you didn't feel horrible afterwards.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. I did not like that it was a light meal. Like, I was a little upset that I could move.
You would struggle with tapas.
Big time. Yeah. I was like, I should
struggle with tapas.
I should
Matt
be
McBest.
That needs to be a graphic.
All right, I'm on it. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
I should be taking deep breaths after my meal, you know? like I should be like.
It'd be amazing if you started a timer, you're in the middle of hold on, I got to start my timer.
If I'm being real with you, when
what's
we
the
go,
timer for? Well, when it's done, I can be allowed to eat again.
when we go to a Chinese restaurant, I've because it's I have acid reflux, but I love Chinese food. So it's my friends try and move after, and I'm like, we got to take a minute. We have to let this settle, and I have to tell you when I am ready to get away from the table. I have to take a movement break after I eat Chinese
So
food.
how fast do you go from zero? Do you find meals to be a bit unsatisfying from the perspective of it doesn't take very long for you to obviously scarf this food like a dog?
I have thought about that before.
And maybe you're not
enjoying
this. Yeah. Do you enjoy any part of eating?
I have. Yes, I do. I enjoyed the taste part. I like how
but
things
it's
taste.
so short-lived.
Yeah, so I have thought of that before. No, oftentimes I do taste, but this is a thought that's gone through my head. I've had a couple of meals where I'm like, I didn't really savor that enough. I didn't really take that in. I'm just.
So you only get the bad parts of eating. You eat it very fast.
No, I get the nutritional part, you know. I get the food in the stomach and it gets digested.
That's true. You do get that.
I do
You
get that
the
part.
uncomfortable part of it.
I kind of love that part though. Like it's
That's
kind of like
not a healthy
it's
relationship.
kind of like one of those things where I do enjoy like taking a break and being like, whoa, that thing's got to digest. Like I like that. I'm a fan. I don't know. I have thought of maybe savoring my meals more often, but if I go somewhere and I feel like I have to eat again immediately after, or I have to order something else on the menu, my experience immediately becomes bad. Like it could be incredible food. It could be awesome food. But if I'm sitting there after the meal, after my plate is done, and I'm still hungry or I am not stuffed, I go, no, not good enough for me.
I say this as a person who eats fast. Like I eat very fast. Like, do you wish that it would take longer?
I don't think I really eat that fast. It's just I just stuff my face with food. Like I just get as much food as possible for the most efficient way I can. I am whenever I go and I look at a menu, the first thought that goes through my head is, how can I have the most amount of food for the least amount of money? That is the first thing I think about. And then I go, all right, how's it going to taste?
I will say this, Matt. I used to be a lot like this.
Yeah. I did too.
I used to be a lot like this.
I
and now it's amazing hearing your thought processes on this, because it's very, very similar to what I thought 10 years ago. And now I'm like, wow, I was such an idiot. Because the things that I love about food now are how long the meal takes to sort of savor. Like you're sitting there at dinner, you're enjoying the company and all of the different things, the plates and the bowls and things of that nature.
I don't look at the plates.
And then most importantly, I need to be able to be a functional human being afterwards.
So here's my
It's
thing.
really the time element that has come into play significantly.
When we're there and we sit down at a table, I'm like Mr. Social. Okay. I'm having a great time. I'm talking to people, everything like that. When the plates come out, it's time to go to work.
It's over.
Yeah. Like we all got a job. We all got a job we got to do here. Like I'm not talking, I'm not speaking. There's no camaraderie. Like plates come out. Don't look at me.
I can't imagine that plays very well in your multi-language household.
I think it plays perfectly.
Multicultural.
That's exactly.
That's actually. You know what? So all these first dates that I went on, do you know how many meals I shared with these women? 0.
Okay.
No, you're not sharing
It's
anything.
like a
Zero.
fourth date kind of thing.
Yes, actually, like
Well,
it is
so-
all drinks and movies.
Do you think that some of your fascination with this chimichanga full of clam chowder is because you can get 2 meals in one?
100%, 1,000,000%.
It does seem remarkably efficient.
It really is just. I love chimichangas because of the fact that I get a meal, but then there's a lot more bread that makes me full. I love carbs. I'm just a carb guy. I just want to have carbs and I want to have energy.
I know some
So
non-bread
basically, you
people.
just want to go to Olive Garden and have bottomless pasta.
The bottomless breadsticks are insane.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's like I go to Red Lobster for those little
But
biscuits. The
but
butter
don't you
biscuits.
feel when you get 80% filled up on the breadsticks and then the toast from Texas Roadhouse, or the buns from Texas Roadhouse, that you are getting shortchanged by the fact that you've filled your stomach up with all the bread?
I still finish my meal.
No,
I'm a part of the clean plate club. I will. My food.
Well,
is
we're
gonna eat it.
adults here. Yes, we eat all of our food.
I eat all my food. It's never really mattered if I have a soup or bread or anything like that. I'm a vacuum. I can eat all the food.
But what I'm saying is, if you had less buns,
yeah,
you would have more food.
yeah. But I love the buns.
He's telling you he's eating both.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now. There's no math that has to be done. There's no adding or subtracting or having this or having that.
Okay, there's no limit.
I can do both.
All equals 0,
Yeah.
which is how much food is left over.
It is all in my stomach. It is all there.
And then uncomfortable rate hits 100%
Every
almost
time.
every
Every single
I hate
meal.
that. Like when you eat
Every time.
too much
That's
and then you have to sit around feeling that for like an hour,
I
an
know.
hour and a half.
That's the thing.
I
It's the
actively try to avoid that.
it's the
It's like
time element, Schaefer.
I like to know what my threshold is of food before I start a meal, so that way I'm nowhere even in the pain, uncomfortable
well,
feeling.
let me out for this. we think about a math equation here, right? You love to eat the food in a very efficient manner.
Yes.
Okay. I'm thinking about the meal from an efficiency standpoint as well. If I am a piece of garbage on the couch for 2.5 hours after I eat every meal, how efficient is that? That is incredibly inefficient.
Sounds great to me. Put on some Morituri highlights and just chill out, man. Just have a good time. You know, put on 2016 World Series Game 5.
I gotta do stuff, man.
Yeah, no.
I gotta do stuff.
Sometimes I go, it's awesome living in the apartment I live in because then the disgustingness will like wear out. And then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go and swim.
Did you see the big news over the weekend?
There's
I know that you're moving, but your nemesis, the stinky smell of food.
Oh,
he's moving on as well. He's going to the transfer portal.
Oh no.
Wait, Joey Colbert is transferring?
No, not that one. He's not in your apartment complex.
Smelly Man he's moving on? I thought
alleged smelly man.
Is he not gonna get drafted?
He might.
I mean, he's still in the transfer portal.
Wow. I did not know that. I thought he was just gonna go to the
should have been
Major
nice
League
to him. He's
Baseball.
about to be very rich.
I don't need to be nice to him.
Okay.
Should be nice to him for a variety of different reasons.
We had very limited interactions. Very limited.
I did look over.
I did help
somehow the window into your adjoining.
I did help his father move him out of his apartment. That was a thing.
Probably why he was on the phone.
I had to hold multiple doors open for his
working
dad.
the phone.
Once again, the guy should be either on the phone with his agent or on the phone with his girlfriend. Those are the two things that I would be doing if I was that guy.
Well, I think maybe one of those two things was happening.
Probably, more than likely. So good for him. Good for him. I hope it works out. I have no quarrel with the man other than he smells. You know?
Well, I mean, he might think the same about you.
I don't know. We like candles in our domicile. We're a good candle apartment. Dan,
what's your go-to candle?
Roommate Dan got this
we know it's not you.
Awesome vanilla bean candle. Like it's just an awesome smelling candle and it's vanilla. And sometimes the place doesn't even smell. I just light it because I just want to be around it. You know, I don't know where he got these candles from. I don't know what place he's going.
Everybody's got a candle face,
but he's great at buying candles. I think though the next cycle of candles is expected upon me to buy the candles.
Is you can do it. Potentially bad at buying candles.
I mean, there definitely are bad candles. There are candles that you're like, oh, like that doesn't smell great.
But they would have to have a high volume of buying those candles.
Well, I think it's just different tastes. Like there are some candles, like my abuela loves the like lemon candles, like the acidic smelling candles. And
those are great.
I like a warm candle. I like a darker
all the candles
smelling.
are warm. The fire.
No, I'm talking about the scent. I like a darker smelling, kind of a caramel or a vanilla or an oak or a mahogany. Yeah, something deep. Maybe like a deeper lavender, like a darker smelling, bolder smelling lavender. That's what I prefer. I don't really like the.
Would you like a pumpkin spice?
Yes, I would love a pumpkin spice. I would take that all day.
You seem like a seasonal candle.
I like the one
little cranberry spice in the winter.
The in between is kind of like when you get to the mocha candles, like the Java candle, Java candles, like those kind of like coffee smelling candles. I'm kind of hit or miss on that.
I would never do that.
Yeah, but I don't really do the kind of lemony, citrusy.
You're not a very fresh guy.
No, not really.
People say that about you.
Yeah, I like a blueberry. A nice blueberry.
That's
candle.
fresh.
That's a little darker. I feel like
I've seen or smelled a blueberry candle.
There's a abuela had one of them. She had like an ocean blueberry.
Maybe like a blueberry waffle.
Yeah, this is how I do whiskey. I taste whiskey. I go, yeah, it tastes like vanilla. That's what I always say.
I had
hints of
oak. There's a little branch
maple in there.
There's a little
earthy. I'm getting earthy.
There it is. Earthy is always the one. Like getting a little grapefruit. Getting a little grapefruit here. Sometimes I'll just say dragon fruit when I taste whiskey. I don't know what dragon fruit tastes like, but I try.
Who does?
I try and sound like
it
smart.
It sounds very interesting.
Yeah,
dragon fruit whiskey.
I once again, this is when I'm just around the people. And I'm like, oh, I got hints of dragon fruit there.
But I think the point is you're going with two overbearing of flavors for
Oh,
whiskey.
you think I need to be a little bit more
Tamp
subtle?
it down a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Almond, vanilla.
There you go.
Sometimes cherry.
So I get a chocolate. Sometimes
Yeah,
I'm getting
yeah.
a darker chocolate.
Smoky, taste that smoke.
They
It
always-
never
they-
hurts to say something smoked.
They always say that there's chocolate notes in there.
Yeah,
whether
darker.
you taste them
So,
or not.
Darker
Have you
notes.
seen this trend? Everybody's doing this. Everybody's smoking their whiskey these days.
I have
with
an
the smoke.
I have an electric smoker.
That
yeah.
is the most overrated garbage I've ever seen.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Disagree. I have a smoker for my whiskey.
Absolute.
I
ass.
use it. I use the cherry
don't
wood
need
every
it.
single
I don't
time.
need it.
I
And
don't
it,
dislike it.
Yeah.
and it works.
Like it exists and it's fine. I'm never going to be the one that's like, oh, I need this smoke.
It works for the first couple of sips. Now, granted, are you doing it where you have the torch? Are you torching it,
Yeah.
or are you okay? So I
Yeah.
have a weaker one. I have the electric one.
Yeah,
So
his is better.
his is way better.
Look, man, I'm all
My-
about
I
this
get
show.
Both of them.
I-
his is better.
I
get-
love the song and dance.
Yeah.
I really do.
I love that.
I know Josh loves the song and dance too, but I just think it makes the whiskey taste infinitely worse.
Oh,
I don't.
interesting.
I don't like the smoke
So
flavor.
I might be doing it wrong, but I don't really smoke it neat or on the rocks. I make a mixed drink and then I smoke it.
oh,
Like I like make a Dr. Diet Pepper or a Dr. Pepper with whiskey and then I smoke it.
whoa.
And why are you laughing?
I mean, that is just an absurd thing.
What do you mean? I
Most
make a
people with their smoked
Dr.
Alcohol.
Pepper?
Yeah.
drink, like they're not cutting it with anything.
no, I'm cutting it.
Yeah.
I'm cutting it down.
And you're cutting it after you
I'm-
add the Dr. Pepper?
Yeah,
Yeah.
cutting it, and then I smoke it.
Is this
that-
a thing that people are
What?
doing?
Dr. Pepper and whiskey? You guys ever had Dr. Pepper and whiskey? Diet Dr. Pepper, to be more specific.
The pepper jack. Pour 2 ounces of your favorite bourbon like Jack Daniels into a glass with ice and top with 4 to 6 ounces of Dr. Pepper.
And then what if you smoke it? Does it say anything about
Yeah,
that?
I add the cherry note.
doesn't.
It's
It
not the
doesn't.
Dr. Pepper, though I don't find that one to be particularly common. It's the smoking element, which is
guess.
normally just reserved for the straight.
It's like you picture the smoking element as you're sitting at a nice high class
You
place,
might picture it.
and then
that
you're
way.
like, can I have a Dr. Pepper, please, Mom?
Can I get
you
a
know,
four?
I assume he's
Can I get a
sitting on
4
the
roses
floor.
and Diet Pepsi?
We only
With
have
his
Mr.
legs
Pig.
crossed.
And his version of smoking is it's a red Solo cup and someone's got a lighter underneath of it.
Smoke this for me, Dan.
Go along with that, Dan.
And really, what it is there's a candle.
There it is.
You
Here
know,
it comes.
It's not even a lighter. They're holding the
Okay.
literal candle, and that's the hint of smoke and the elements that
So-
we're getting in it.
Yeah.
So I googled
Very accurate, if I'm being
I
honest.
love it.
I googled smoke whiskey with Dr. Pepper, and the Google AI thing that pops up now says mixing smoky whiskey with Dr. Pepper is generally not recommended.
Yeah. Probably terrible for my health. Probably awful.
I don't
There's
think it has
probably,
anything to do. It's the taste.
there's probably some
No,
microplastics.
it's just the taste.
The
No, it's
sweet-
awesome. I love it.
The sweet 23 flavor blend of Dr. Pepper tends to clash with the peaty, medicinal, or heavily charred notes of smoke.
yes.
Matt McClash.
I'm gonna
really.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I think AI is a woman, by the way. She's
Sure.
wrong.
And the last 5
She's
words
wrong.
resulting in a rancid aftertaste.
Don't agree with that one,
I have
Dan.
never heard a product describe Matt McMaster better.
What? I'm rancid? You think I'm rancid?
Flash with a rancid after.
Whoa!
You
that
were
is
just-
so rude.
You were just gonna blow right through this, like
Yeah.
we weren't gonna say anything at all.
I once again, there are things that you guys find incredible / disgusting about me. To me, it's just normal
When
life.
you do, you're like,
I make a little before I go to bed. I make a little mixie of Dr. Pepper and a whiskey.
That sounds
and I,
okay.
And I smoke it with
Yeah.
cherry chips. It's my cherry wood chips
yeah,
that I smoke it with.
that's the smoking. That
it's the smoke.
Yeah.
why do you need more cherry?
I love cherry.
It's already a spice cherry. with
Put
your
a
Dr.
cherry
Pepper.
in it.
No, I've never bought cherries in my life. I've never bought
Get a jar
cherry.
of maraschino cherries. It'll last you for 10
Yeah,
years.
no, I didn't know what I
No,
didn't
the
know what
problem is he'd eat
maraschino.
one, and then he has to keep eating until he's full.
I didn't know what a maraschino. Yeah, why? Same thing with like pickles. Like everyone like has pickles in the fridge. We don't have pickles in our fridge. I got to eat like 80,000 pickles to be full.
But this is the thing. If you buy one jar of pickles or cherries, you'll have it for the rest of your life. You'll never run out of pickles or cherries.
I like to get the little
And
hot
you're tempting
peppers.
fate over here with this.
Yeah, then he's gonna start putting 6 cherries in his drink.
Seriously.
Do you ever just have a snack?
No.
Okay. So you're consistent. Okay, that's fine.
No. Like when I go to the snack room, Josh, how often do I come back with like 6 things? Like
You are there often.
I have to. I bring back 6 things.
I'm just gonna guess you're not a breakfast guy as well.
No, I don't
Yeah,
eat breakfast.
absolutely.
No, I'll never do that.
That'll put you to sleep. You'll be done.
But I did like
You can't eat breakfast.
It
Like,
is-
I
it
went
is the
to-
push and pull of the midday show.
I went to Lisa's Radio Cafe.
You had
over
to
the
take a
weekend,
2.5 hour
and
nap.
I literally I saw the Titanic. I didn't even read it. I go, I'll just get that.
And then what'd you do when you get home?
And then we went on a walk.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Did you need a break between the Titanic and the walk?
No, not with these people. These people that came over were very active, athletic people. Like they're the type that they aren't eating until incapacitation. Like they are actually thinking of like, how can I move after this?
Matt McMaster, I eat to completion.
Yes, that's what I eat to not move again. That's kind of what I'm doing.
I'm actually disappointed when I do move the first time after I eat. I thought that might be the time it's done for me.
I was like, I'll get up from that pizza place and be like, why can't I move? Like, I'm a little mad that I can move right now. That's kind of what I'm going at. I don't know. Wood fire pizza. It's just one of those things where it's just like,
You'll learn.
I need
think
to
it's
eat
the
more
pizza.
after.
I think it's the guy consuming the pizza.
It is.
I just need to eat more. I just need to eat more after.
I mean, look, you might. You're a growing boy.
Andy goes, Matt's going to open a restaurant that is just terrible combinations. Once the influencers stop coming to share the concoctions, it will close, thankfully.
All the waiters wear mismatched socks.
We'll call it
When
McClash.
you go get your cigars and you
Yeah.
smoke your wit, like, are you drinking that neat or straight up? Or are you getting?
I
Dr.
mix
Pepper
it
with
up.
that?
Sometimes I drink and neat. Sometimes I do have a mixed drink. Every
Have
time.
you ever ordered a smoked whiskey with Dr. Pepper?
No, I've never ordered a smoked whiskey.
I believe you get your
Before.
ass kicked saying something like
Yeah.
that.
Well, I want to know what the reaction.
I don't
of
think the good people at Proof Whiskey would be very happy if I was getting smoked. Yeah, can I do a
Hell
well
no.
whiskey with Diet Coke and smoke that sucker for me?
Believe no, man. Believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm now getting to the point where it's like some people look at me funny when I like order well whiskey. They're like the way the bartenders kind of like give me a judging look when I get well whiskey. I'm like, what?
Yeah, the whiskey community is definitely a bit highbrow, which is what makes
Yeah.
the Dr. Pepper thing so amusing to me, honestly.
Yeah, I was just
When you go up to the
every-
waitress and you're like, "Hey, I'll take a whatever whiskey. I don't really care what it is." They're like, "Really?" Whatever?
Seriously. Like it's one of those things where it's like, is it really that much cooler if I get Jack Daniels? Like, am I really that much better?
It tastes better for you.
I don't really care.
See, he doesn't
I'm
care.
not.
We've
I don't-
established this
I
completely.
really don't care. When it comes to
I
mixed
don't think
drinks,
you really
I
care about taste.
Which
When-
I believe should render all your food takes useless, to be honest, because it doesn't feel like you care at all.
not really. Yeah, no.
Like, I don't think there's a whole lot of interest in whatever the input is.
But I love,
You just want
but
the
I love
totality.
eating, and I love eating at nice places, and I love going to restaurants. But I mean, above all else, I'm looking for. Once again, let me reiterate.
Okay.
I
Get it
look at a
straight.
menu, and I go, how can I eat the most food for the least amount of money? And
You're
then
basically turning every meal into the CC's pizza.
and
buffet.
then I go.
Am I wrong?
And then I go, here are my 4 options. I have 4 options on this menu to do that.
Yeah.
And then I pick what I think will taste the best.
And
But
then
there
you're
are
eating your
things.
5th slice of mac and cheese pizza.
But
because
there-
you
but
put
there
it
are-
damn
over the
king
top.
if you were born 10 years earlier.
Yeah, you would have.
When there was a CC's
You know
on
what?
every
I'm going to be
corner.
real with you. There are more and more buffets closing, and I'm very upset about it. I love a buffet anywhere.
You would
that's-
have loved $4.99.
I heard
pizza
Wendy's
or
had a
CC's.
buffet. I heard Wendy's had a salad bar.
They
They
had
had a
a
salad,
salad
bar.
bar, and then
God,
you
I
get
will.
chili.
I will f up a salad bar
Baked
any day
potato
of the
bar.
week.
Have you ever gone to a buffet and ordered off the menu?
God no.
No.
Well, I would. And by the way, if you were ever at my table and you did that, I would leave. I'd be. Are you
Say
kidding
people
me?
do it sometimes, you know,
I would
because they
never
only
do that.
want so
you
much
ever been
food.
to a Ruby Tuesday?
I grew up going to a Ruby Tuesday. It was right next to
Getting
the.
the like
Yeah,
the
put
little
the ham,
sliders with
the
yeah.
bacon, the ranch. I would live at the salad
good
bar at
salad bar
Ruby
there.
Tuesday. It was a great salad,
Salad bar at Spaghetti Works.
You know what?
I've never been to a spaghetti.
I wanted to
Works.
go to Spaghetti Works over the weekend, and the people just weren't. They weren't vibing with
They
it.
weren't into it.
I don't
you
know.
wanted to eat to completion.
I don't think that's what I was saying. I was like, I want to eat a lot of food, and I know if we're in the old market,
Then Olive Garden's too far away.
everything in the old market is gonna cost an arm and a leg. Except, I can go to Spaghetti Works and I could be efficient.
You're absolutely correct. on
Yeah,
that.
it checks a lot of boxes for that.
Like we were in the old market area, and I'm like, let's do Spaghetti Works. I was doing the whole. I hear Spaghetti Works is really good. I hear Spaghetti Works.
I'm
is
shocked
awesome.
you haven't been to Spaghetti Works.
I have. Now that I know it has a salad bar, I have to go.
They do have a salad.
I
bar.
just imagine Spaghetti Works is a place with a lot of spaghetti, and
I guess I
was
haven't,
just like,
I haven't been since COVID. They may have shut it down. I don't know.
I was just
think
like,
a pretty good deduction by you.
I was like, there's a lot of carbs at Spaghetti Works, and we should go to Spaghetti Works.
They have spaghetti.
Yeah,
Indeed.
and that's kind of what I was looking for.
Mhm.
You know, Aaron goes the crossover at Spaghetti Works. I am feeling it. I should just.
I want to have it.
I'm down to do a show at Spaghetti Works.
I've honestly, this whole shucks thing is just, I want to do a remote there. I want to do a radio show where all I do is eat oysters.
Maybe they could set up a deal where like you go there 10 times and on the 11th show you get to do your show there or something.
Yes, I get a radio punch card.
You should be able to like sell the midday show as a thing where you just go do food challenges and fail continuously.
Yeah. Just like AAA man versus food.
You could be our man versus food. I mean,
I would love to.
You would
your
be
man
the
versus
only
food.
possible candidate for this here. You have the appetite,
Yes.
the youth,
Yeah.
the youthful
The
exuberance.
radio time slot works perfect.
Yeah.
I would love the man v food.
There you go.
You have no shame.
Zero.
None at all.
I really don't care. I mean, like, once again,
Man, clearly.
You have a mustache.
when the plates hit the table, shut up. You know, just shut your mouth. I gotta eat. You know, we gotta get a job done here. You know.
I thought you were talking about.
I thought you were talking to me and your mustache comment. Yeah.
Oh no! I'm talking about the food. No, what'd you say about my mustache?
But everyone thought that you had a
What'd you
very.
say? What'd you say about my mustache?
No, I just think it'd be funny if. I mean, we could march you upstairs right now and be like, I think I have something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's obviously
I
you
have
just call
an
it Matt
opportunity.
Good luck with that one, Dan.
Yeah, there's options for you, Matt.
Matt versus food.
Mhm.
That's what chance
Matt
is.
versus food.
I would love this. I would almost throw up every single time.
I know you would love it. Apparently,
I mean, you got to take a couple deep breaths, man. That's a mark of a good meal.
drink some water.
How many breaths could I take after?
Have you ever had the Meat Mountain at Arby's?
No,
We are
but-
partners with Arby's now.
Yeah.
God, I love Arby's.
We could probably get one of those next time they pop in here.
I just want a half-pound beef and cheddar really bad.
Mm.
Because talk about something where you got to take a couple breaths after. I mean, also I love a great little like sweet
I
onion
think we
roll.
need to campaign if Arby's comes back, it should be the morning crossover after the performance of the afternoon crossover.
Yeah,
Here's the thing.
I want Arby's.
There was
Oh,
just
yeah,
there was
yeah,
just a little too much like, oh, this is great and this is awesome. I just wanted to eat. You know, like they were looking at me to like say
From
things.
what I understand, they weren't eating it.
I was
You were busy eating.
dude, I shelved it. I had like 10 mozzarella sticks. I had 2 things of marinara sauce. I ate that whole chicken salad sandwich to completion. I also had a whole thing of curly fries. It was all.
You don't have to say chicken salad sandwich to complete.
What do you mean?
I shouldn't have started that. I'm sorry.
I got to eat to
It
completion.
just didn't sound right.
Does it make you uncomfortable?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Definitely.
That was the crossover. Powered by Everlove Concrete Repair in Omaha at everloveconcrete.com. It is Matt coming up next.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
That's an absolutely horse crap call. Make room for Daddy. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. Chicago is.
This is Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays Matt live and rolling here on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network. Matt McMaster, as always, joined by Josh Odson here on a beautiful week in June. We are here, baby. We are in summer. I feel like May to me was always like 1 foot in, 1 foot out of summer. Like it didn't, you're like, oh, technically we're there. Some people are being let out of school. The college graduations are happening, but we're not fully there yet. June is when you're like, oh no, baby, we are in summer. Congratulations to us. We made it through the winter. We survived the spring, and now we get to enjoy the beautiful weather, the sunshine, the warmth, the baseball, the fishing, all of the activities you could ever think of. The golf, too, as well. I unfortunately, it rained on the one day I was going to end up golfing this weekend, which was very, very unfortunate.
Rough.
But we'll be back on the links this Saturday. Don't you worry about it, buddy boy. Welcome to Middays with Matt. Welcome to the 1620 The Zone Radio Network and 97.7 The Zone out in central Nebraska. We have a loaded show for you today. Will Bolt, Rhonda Revelle, Jordy Fromm, Victor Wembanyama, some of the names that we will be talking about today on the show. A very unfortunate turn of events for Nebraska baseball, hosting a regional and not even making it to the Sunday night game. Very, very unfortunate for Nebraska. Very unfortunate for me, who bought a ticket to the regional, who bought a ticket in with the hopes of going to Haymarket Park and watching a baseball game. I did no such thing this weekend. I never made it over to Lincoln. I bought the ticket literally for the Sunday night game. I did know it was a potential risk here that I'm going to go to the game that Nebraska may not end up making. It was in the back of my mind. It was one I was still willing to take. I was still willing to take that risk. I took it and I fell flat. I spent $56 on a ticket that I never even scanned, not even once. But I did not want to be a hypocrite, though, and go ahead and sell the ticket online or the tickets online. I didn't want to be that guy, especially after the stance that I had with how they handled the entirety of the postseason ticket distribution. So I didn't even stand to profit. I just wasted $56 to see Nebraska lose 2 baseball games on my television. Very unfortunate for Nebraska baseball. We will talk about that throughout the show today. We've mentioned before, I very notably at this point don't love baseball. I don't dislike baseball. I'm not like a ill baseball guy. Baseball is like, the best way to describe it is basketball is my first love, football is my mistress, and hockey is the girl that I took to prom. Baseball is like that girl from American Pie, where she's like one time at band camp. It's there and you acknowledge it, and I watch it, but I'm not necessarily in love with it. It is my dad and my grandfather's favorite sport, though, so I grew up around it my entire life. I have one take. I have one baseball take. We joked about parachuting into the success of Nebraska baseball and parachuting into the success of Nebraska softball, and also just parachuting into the absolute carnage that was the college baseball NCAA tournament, where one side of the bracket, there's potential on one side of the bracket, all of the regional hosts are going to make the super regional. And then there's the other side of the bracket where Cal Poly and Little Rock came out of their regionals, and Milwaukee could end up defeating Auburn today. So absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe, first off, great take by Connor Happer saying UCLA, the number 1 overall seed, was not going to get out of their regional. Great stuff by him.
They had been playing with fire for weeks.
Well, they were playing with fire against Virginia Tech, and then they just got out of that jam, which was quite incredible to see, but then ended up
the last weekend of the regular season, the Big Ten tournament, they were, we'll just walk it off at the end. It'll be fine.
Once again, parachuting in, I was very thankful for the information from Connor Happer being like, UCLA's done this like 10 times in the last 3 weeks. So they are gone. And so is Nebraska. We will talk about that. And we will talk about Nebraska softball. What a gut punch. I mean, just the definition of a groin kick happened in Oklahoma City versus the Texas Longhorns. I was thinking about it. I haven't had like that dramatic of an emotional shift from commercial break to commercial break since the football season. Like I have not exited a commercial break so excited on the verge of like, this could be history. This could be a legacy game. This could be one of the performances that we talk about for years and years to come when it just deals with Husker athletics to entering the next commercial break. You're like, oh my God, this sucks. This sucks. This is awful. This is terrible. I can't believe it's going to end this way. I haven't had just such a shift of them. I mean, you got to go to like a Bear game in order for me to feel the way that I felt watching Nebraska softball lose in the women's college World
I would
Series.
be genuinely curious where it ranks on Josh Peterson's groin kick chronicles. I know that was like a football only thing, but I mean, to get your heart ripped out that way by Texas.
It also is everything else that had to do with that game as well, right? Like all of the things that led up to that game and that moment, and not just College World Series in general, right? The storybook ending for one of the greatest collegiate softball careers of all time. Literally.
There's a lot of intangibles.
So there is so much working around that story that the common viewer may not even recognize. And the fact also, too, you add in everything, all of the outside aspects that were playing into that game, and then add on the fact that to hit a home run in the first inning and then to shut out the other team, and then that's how you win the game, that would have been one of the best individual performances I've ever seen. And granted, Jordy Fromm almost did it on a no-hitter, which I'm not superstitious. I am a little stitious, to quote Michael Scott. Did we have to put the no-hitter through 5 1/3 inning graphic the entirety of the 6th inning in the top left corner? Like, we could flash it. They had it up there.
Feels like a choice.
In the top left corner the entire time. And then Texas gets a hit, and then they just, obviously you take it away. I didn't like that. I didn't like, because they were doing a great job on the call, not expressing that there was a no-hitter going on. They never said it at one point. Very good job. But to have it in the top left corner the entire time was a little bit overkill. But we will talk about Nebraska softball. We will talk about Nebraska baseball. We'll also talk about Victor Wembanyama. I'm of the opinion that Wemby is, or the Spurs rather, are going to quite easily defeat the New York Knicks. I think it'll go to.
Feels like a gentleman's.
Yeah, probably 5. I'm feeling 5.
Game 3 at MSG, the vibes and environment might give the Knicks that one.
I think they'll win a very close game at Madison Square Garden, and then I think the other game, the Spurs will blow them out. I think that there will be just an absolute BTA at the Madison Square Garden by the hands of the Spurs, by the way. I don't think the Knicks are going to go BTA at any point against the Spurs during the series. I'm going to offer up my Victor Wembanyama takes early, right? I'm gonna put it out there before he wins the title, and then everybody starts having the same take, and we start recycling the same stats and arguments over and over again. I'm gonna get ahead of it. I'm gonna talk about Wemby as if he won the title today, because I think that's what's going to happen. We'll also talk about Brendan Sorsby. Very underrated. Today is June 1st. His hearing on whether or not he's going to be granted an injunction to play NCAA football is happening today at a Lubbock County court. So we'll go ahead and we'll keep an eye out for that. I also need to put out there that there was a brand new article written about Brendan Sorsby over the weekend that detailed a lot of very interesting and probably the better word to use is concerning details over the lengths that were taken in terms of this betting allegations and this whole process. That guy did not stop when he transferred to Texas. Okay. Texas Tech, rather. He did not stop betting. So there was a lot of interesting details that were revealed, and it'll be a very interesting decision that we see today. I think anybody who's been following this thing and just if you're on the team of common sense. Common sense would say he should not play an NCAA football game again. And it'll probably be, or at least hopefully, we set the precedent of we're not just going to allow this to happen. And then he'll go to the supplemental draft with Brendan Sorsby. It'll be very, very interesting. Definitely the first time a supplemental draft will make a headline that I've seen in quite some time. So we'll go ahead. We'll talk about that. We will also talk about Mike Breen. He's going to be on the call for the NBA Finals. We are on triple bang watch, ladies and gentlemen. We are on. That's what it would sound like.
Yep, exactly like that.
That's the preview.
Pauses and all.
So, bang, bang. Yeah, that'd be funny if he pauses for dramatic effect during the NBA.
How many
Finals.
is he going to do? How many?
Well, that is going to be a storyline. Seriously, because the man said that the only time that he would consider the triple bang is if the Knicks were in the NBA Finals. Well, the Knicks are in the NBA Finals, so we are on
biased Breen.
We are on. You should coin that. It's called.
That's mine. Trademark Josh Otson, June 1st, 2026.
That sounds like a President T nickname. Bias Breen. That's what I call him. Everybody knows Mike Breen. What a biased man
Biased
Mike Breen is.
Knicks commentator.
Biased man. Very little man. Small man. That Mike Breen. Biased Mike Breen.
How tall is Mike Breen?
Probably like 5'9". Most broadcasters are.
You're so right about that.
I mean, he's probably
in
the 5'9" to 5'10"
Google
range.
says 5'11".
Yeah.
So he's
5'10". He's
yeah.
5'9". Yeah. By the way, the ladies are totally correct. There is no such thing as a 5'11" man.
No human is 5'11".
No, nobody will ever tell you that you're 5'11" too. I am 5'10" and a half. Okay. Measured up 5'10" and a half. I go 5'10". I don't even round up because when you say 5'11", people are just going to think that you're lying. So I go 5'10".
That's a good self-scout by you.
And then they go, oh, he's 5'10", but he's a little bit taller than that. He's not too small. Everything. Here's the thing too. If you're actually 5'11", you're not 5'11". You say, what do you say? I'm 6 foot.
Right.
And nobody knows the difference either. Nobody knows what 5'11" looks like.
Yeah.
No one's going to go, I'm 6 foot, and I'm going to look at you and go, no, you're 5'11". Nobody cares. There's no such thing as that. So he's 5'9". Anyway, though, we'll talk about Mike Breen. We'll also talk about Trey Taylor. What a performance from the young man.
The elite, they dominated the Elite 11.
The MVP of the Elite 11. Somebody get this man his 5th star. That man's playing Galaga. You didn't think we noticed, but we did. He was incredible. I went to the Battle of the Boneyard last year and saw him play in that 7-on-7 with that Miami 7-on-7 team. I think they were called like Heat Raw or something like that.
Good name.
Miami Raw or something. And he was wildly impressive in that 7-on-7 game. He was wildly impressive in the couple of hours that I saw him throw. Not surprised in the slightest seeing some of the clips that he ended up having, the performance that he had. It was one of those things where a lot of people, if you read about kind of the lead into it, a lot of people were expecting the young man to perform. A lot of people were expecting him to put on a show, and credit to him. I mean, it's not like that is a non-stressful environment. That is a very stressful environment to be there in front of all of those reporters, to be around the best competition in terms of your peers in that sport as a quarterback. Trey Taylor has made it very well known how much he wants a 5th star. He wants that 5th star. He wants to have that distinction of being a 5-star quarterback. By the way, he's not even the best quarterback in Illinois, according to the ranking systems. He's actually the 3rd best quarterback in Illinois, according.
Why aren't we going to get those two?
Well, Israel Abrams, he was a good quarterback for Montini. He's going to Miami. And then I forget the other one. I think he's going to Kentucky is what I read. But he's
Kentucky?
He's the 3rd ranked quarterback
All right.
in the state of Illinois. Did not look like it. Looked like the best quarterback in the country at the Elite 11 competition. So team clap for Trey Taylor.
That one was on me.
Yeah, I got to give a little bit of a pause. Your hands were typing and doing some things. So that's on me. I got to be a better leader in that regard. But we will talk about Trey. We will talk about NCAA baseball. We will talk about softball. By the way, I was thinking this over the weekend. People who are continuously complaining about Cinderella is dead and we don't have any more Cinderellas in NCAA basketball and it's a travesty. And we spent an entire week complaining about that, even though we had phenomenal basketball take place in the NCAA tournament. If you want Cinderellas, watch more baseball.
Whoa, yeah.
It was that first day, that Friday was so sick. Just listening to John and Josh being like, oh, this team got upset. This team got upset. This regional host just, it was insane how many different teams were losing their very first games. The games that we just assumed, oh, no big deal. And Northern Illinois University, congratulations to the Huskies. They win their first ever NCAA tournament game. Their head coach afterwards said we had to use our 3 weekend starters and our best bullpen arms in order to win one NCAA game, but they got it done until eventually they lost last night to Florida State. So it's going to be the Seminoles versus St. John's to get out of the Tallahassee regional. So that will be very interesting as well. A couple of elimination games today in NCAA baseball. We're actually going to have, I think the first Women's College World Series game begins here in a couple of minutes as well. So we're going to turn that on the TV and watch that and keep track of that throughout the day. But we have a loaded show. I didn't even mention AJ Brown. Today is the day. Everybody has been waiting for June 1st. That has been the marker for people in the NFL because AJ Brown's cap hit is a lot less now than it was prior to June 1st. The deal would have been way more difficult to get done if it was done merely just a couple of days ago compared to it being done now. If you notice, our graphic today for the show is Mac Hollins and AJ Brown in the Trading Places poster. Shout out Josh Odson, who got an 11 p.m. text from me. I'm saying this is what I want the thumbnail to be. That's probably what's going to happen. These boys are probably trading places. To be honest, probably that's going to be the deal. 2 GMs said to Sporting News as early as this morning that they believe that the deal is done for AJ Brown to go to the New England Patriots. 2 separate GMs said that. All indications is that it's a 2028 first round pick, not a 2027 first round pick. So very interesting piece of news there, potentially coming out of Philadelphia / New England. We haven't talked about New England at all during this offseason. It'll be great to speak about them once again. They haven't been in the news in the slightest.
The team hasn't.
The coach, though, which, by the way, that's kind of disappeared, right?
Seems like
that's
good.
over.
Seems like everybody's moving on. We're good.
I think we're okay.
That's his baby, and no one cares.
Are you treating the Rossini Vrabel situation like a 7-foot putt right now? We good? Are we all good? I'm good.
I'm actually waiting for more videos to be released or for somebody to talk.
I think they probably
as we get closer to football season.
You think we're just going to have another wave of this stuff? Or are you kind of just waiting?
I feel there's one in the chamber ready to go.
What happened to the whole she saved somebody in a car crash?
Well, that was proven to be an exaggeration of the truth.
Yeah.
She just watched somebody's dog while they handled the situation.
That is the most underrated and non-talked about part of the entire saga. Merely a week after everything exploded, it was Diana Rossini saved somebody in a car crash.
Pulled him out of a burning car.
And everyone,
what a hero.
And everyone's like, oh, okay. Meh, whatever. Oh, you saved a life. Big deal. That's how we were. And then there are some people who are like, I don't know how to feel about this.
Well, what if, like, okay, you go home that night and you're kind of reading your own news clippings and you're like, my God, I could pull a man from a burning vehicle and it wouldn't even up my
literally.
It wouldn't even up my opinion.
Phenomenal point.
Yeah.
Not even saving a life can get me out of this hellhole right now.
Wow. Okay. I guess I'm screwed.
Be like, all right, I guess I'll never do that again.
Yeah.
What a time.
Now we know.
We will look back on that week and be like, God, I can't believe that happened. That was a wild 20 days. Sorry, Michael Severe. We'll stop talking about the Vrabel routine. My bad, Michael. Sorry, Michael. Sorry, Michael. All right. Great show ahead of us today. Sabrina Carpenter is here on the show. What a get for us here Middays with Matt show starts on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network after this break.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Back here on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network, Josh Odson is in a meeting, so we're now joined by Joey.
Unfortunately, you have to put up with me for about, I would say, 45 minutes.
Oh, so I'm working on your schedule now?
I guess so. Did someone say schedules? Anyone?
Are you going to leak potentially when you could get out of doing this fill-in job? By the way, I guess we don't need to know what's happening in the College World Series. I guess they're really. Joey and Matt, they're fine. They'll figure it out. We will.
Joey's working the morning show. He doesn't need to do the games anymore.
Joey's making graphics. All the graphics you could ever think of. How many graphics did you make this morning?
I gotta say 2.
Okay, slow day for you.
It's normal to make 2.
Yeah,
for a particular day.
What's your So GPD? What's your graphics per day?
I would say 2 because usually during the show, because we'll have to post a segment onto our website. So I'll make one throughout the show just so I don't have to really do one after the show's done. It's saving me time.
How was the zoo on Sunday, by the way?
It was great.
To ask you.
The weather was great yesterday.
It was phenomenal weather.
We showed up right when gates opened at 9:00, and we were there for a good 3 hours. We hit all the exhibits except for...
You hit all the exhibits in 3 hours?
Not all the exhibits. I was about to finish, except for like the kid stuff. There's stuff dedicated for just children, and then I never go into the butterfly house. I don't really care for that.
Why don't you like the butterflies?
I don't care.
The butterflies are nice. That's a very calm area.
I'm not interested in butterflies and insects.
They got great shrubbery over there.
I know they do, but I'm not interested.
You don't like looking at the flowers and the bushes and the
the
statues?
We have flowers in Omaha.
You have flowers at home. That's what you're saying. You're treating the zoo like McDonald's. We got tigers at home. We don't need to go there.
Not at my apartment.
I can't believe you did everything but the butterflies and the kid stuff in 3 hours. That's quite impressive.
Yeah,
we like sprinting.
We like to move around pretty quickly. We hit the jungle first. That's a tradition.
That's a Colbert tradition, hitting the jungle first.
That's a Warcola tradition.
Warcola tradition of hitting the jungle first.
Hitting the jungle first, but it was pretty quiet. The last couple times I was there.
Yeah, were you disappointed?
The last 2 times I was there, the bottom floor was closed out due to renovation. So it was good to be back down there for the first time in forever. But we would do that, do the aquarium, then just do a lap around the zoo, and then
I do agree with you. I do agree with you that the butterfly exhibit probably the weakest hitter on the Omaha Zoo, and the koi fish
I will say the Desert Dome got a little too crowded, so we had to speed run through the cave parts of that, and then getting into the kingdom.
You did the Kingdom of the Night.
Yeah, we do that as well.
Is that your favorite Kingdom of the Night?
I like it.
You like that one?
Yes, I do.
You know what the bat area smells. That's my problem.
It does.
It's just a little too stinky for me.
It would be cool to go to the jungle at night because you see, we saw all those bats all crowded in one area.
You want to do nights out at the zoo with me?
That'd be
this
fun.
year.
That'd
we
be fun.
should go and grab some beers. Have a good time.
That'll be fun. But yeah, did 3 hours over there. Had a big lunch afterwards.
I can wingman for you at night out at the zoo. You want to do that? Well,
depends on the schedule.
Goose and Maverick action. Is that what you want to do?
Depends on the schedule.
All right. If the sports schedule allows,
it does.
If the sports schedule allows us, we're gonna try and get Jelly a girlfriend at the zoo.
As long as it's not a weekday.
Let's go to the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline 42951-1620. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. We have a bunch of text in here to the text line. John goes, Matt needs to get the Porkosaurus at Bailey's. Have you been to Bailey's? You're from around here.
I've not been there before.
You haven't been to Bailey's?
No, I have not.
I've been to Bailey's. Bailey's is great. I had breakfast with Michael Severe at Bailey's.
Oh wow!
Have you heard of the Porkosaurus before?
No, I have not heard of it.
Porkosaurus Bailey's Cafe. This would be very interesting.
Yeah, I'm not. I should be familiar with this since I'm from Omaha,
the greater Omaha area.
Yeah, I'm from the greater Omaha area, but. You'd be shocked that there's certain things I don't know about this beloved city in middle of America.
Do not.
Is this
somebody asked me?
Is this a West Omaha thing? Because if it's a West Omaha thing, then
what would you consider West O?
I would say west. I would say it starts at 144th and
Whoa, that's deep.
now it starts at 144th.
You think West Omaha starts at 144th?
144th to 72nd is Central.
That is the most Western that I've heard somebody say Western. There are people who literally think half of what you think. There are some people who believe that 72nd is West Omaha. Those people are crazy.
It's a debatable topic, that's for sure.
I wouldn't say I would say 120th.
120th.
120th is
okay. It's a
once I get on the express lanes on Dodge, that's kind of like I'm going into the wormhole that exits out at West.
Yeah, that's around 108th, 120th. Yeah, I totally.
So
agree.
J-Man agrees with you, or J-Man agrees with that. He goes Wesco is west of 108th or I-680. PC goes, oh, what a new time to tune back in. Thanks, Matt. Hard Rock Fin goes, 72nd started Wesco around 1990. I think 72nd is a little bit too short. You're telling me the target is where we say that's Wesco?
No, I said that. I said that's
No, I'm saying in general, people who thinks it's 72nd.
That's not Wesco.
I can get 90th. Like I think Austin Jacobson thinks it starts at 90th. But no, the Bailey's is really good. You should go and eat at Bailey's. Someone says that the person who owns Bailey's owns Shucks as well.
Oh wow,
that's not surprising. Both incredible.
I haven't been over there places. In a long time.
To Shucks?
Yeah, I've been over there a couple times. It's been forever.
You go to the one? Do you go to the Wesco one? The one on it's on Pacific, right? Or do you go to the one downtown?
Downtown's the one I've been to a couple times. I don't think I've been to the one out west.
I've only been to the one out west once, and that was also with Michael. Michael would just take me places to go and discover Omaha and eat Omaha.
It's fun. It's like a field trip.
Rattlesnake Ron goes, does Matt know that Sipple loves candles? He said he spends thousands of dollars a year on them.
My goodness.
They could bond over this. Thousands of dollars a year on candles is a little much. I'm probably in the lower 1 to 200 range on what I'd be willing to spend in a year on candles. Brian goes, Stella's Burgers in Bellevue. Look up the Stellanator. Oh, okay.
I've been to Stella's once, and I don't think I've seen that on the menu because I just pay attention to what I like. But their food is really good.
This might be the first Matt versus food. Take the challenge.
I can't wait.
If you're into food challenges, then try ours. To beat the Stellanator, you have 45 minutes.
Wow.
To eat 6 burger patties, 6 fried eggs, 6 slices of cheese, 12 strips of bacon, lettuce, tomato, fried onions, pickles, jalapenos, peanut butter, bun, and an order of fries.
I got to see a picture of this thing.
If you win, you get a shirt and your picture on the wall of fame, and it's free. If you lose, it's $65. That is a heavy. Oh my god!
Oh my goodness! I'm looking at the picture of it.
It is a big. Now I would probably deconstruct the Stellanator here.
Yeah,
I would probably go fork and knife and eat each individual patty. I'm a little worried about how the peanut butter jalapenos and fried onions would do in my stomach.
I'd stay away from the bun until
the bun is the last thing.
Yeah,
You're
that's
totally
the
right.
last thing.
I think I would. I mean, I would say that I would probably get through 75% of this thing. 45 minutes is a long time, though. I feel like I could make a second stomach. The current record on April 7th, 2014, Molly defeated the Stellanator for a third time. Setting a new record of, you ready?
I'm ready.
3 minutes and 40 seconds.
Wow.
She then ate everything else on the table. Congrats to Molly. She had onion rings after Molly ate 6 burger patties and 6 fried eggs and 12 strips of bacon.
She's like, this ain't nothing. This ain't anything to me. I want more.
Andy goes, Matt, does your family have a history of heart issues, high cholesterol? You might want to check.
Not a bad idea.
I don't know if we have a history of high cholesterol. We definitely have had some heart issues in the family. That is I don't want to hip on my own family here. Andy goes, after a long day, Sipple loves nothing more than a warm bath surrounded by candles. Andy also says, that makes my chest hurt. We have a couple more texts in from the 402. Hello, Matt. Stella's is temporarily closed because of a small fire. Wait till they reopen. Thank you. You know what? So after I went to Dinkers, they a lot of people were telling me that I had to go to Stella's next. I very much enjoyed Dinkers.
Yeah,
very old school.
Yeah, it is.
I kind of love there's a certain charm now of a cash only place. Anytime I go somewhere, if I go to a place and they go, we are cash only, I immediately think the food is going to be great.
You know what's unique about them though? You have to go to 2 different lines for ordering, one for food and then one for your beverages. That's kind of how they operate. You go to the bar and order your drinks. You go to the kitchen, you order the.
I didn't realize that. Well, I guess I just sat at the bar. That was a little natural for me. But no, everyone. As soon as I went to Dinker's a great place. But I'm telling you, if I go to a place and they go cash only, my expectations immediately skyrocket, and I immediately think this is going to be a pretty good place. If you're a cash only place, I F with that. I F with that. You also, though, if you are a cash only place, you have to have an ATM around. I've been to a cash only place and they did not have an ATM, and I was like, that's kind of tough. It's kind of tough. From the 531, what area code is that? 531.
That should be Nebraska.
Okay. Once went to Stella's and watched someone try and do this, and they failed terribly.
That's terrible.
I will fail the Stellanator for sure. I think I'd give it a really good go though.
I would fail this as well. I had a double burger at Barrett's the other day, and that I posted the picture on Twitter, and that thing was huge. I could have had another patty, but yeah, I would say I would only be able to make it through half.
You think half?
I think
you could do better than half.
I think half at this moment. I would have to go on another 3 to 4 hour zoo hike for this to be attainable.
Before or after?
Before.
You're supposed to eat lettuce before you have big eating competitions, is what they say. They say the lettuce stretches out your stomach.
Okay, so
and makes your stomach bigger.
So deconstruct the burger, eat all the lettuce they have, and then eat the burger. There you go.
I have one of those things where it's you have to have a big breakfast if you're going to have a big dinner, and that does work. Having the big breakfast definitely does stretch out your stomach a little bit. Andy goes, Nebraska ever makes a bowl game in Phoenix, I'll take you guys out to great spots. I've been saying this since Crouch and the boys played in their last Fiesta Bowl. Let's talk about Nebraska athletics and the playoffs. Nebraska baseball went ahead and lost in the Lincoln Regional, a very good accomplishment by Nebraska baseball. A goal set out by Will Bolt to get into a position to be one of the best 16 teams in the country and host a regional. It's been his goal for quite a while, albeit some said pretty lofty goal, man. Pretty lofty goal to go and host a regional. That is not an easy thing to do. And I have to give a ton of credit to Will Bolt and his entire staff and everything they did to go ahead and be in a position to host a regional. It's just unfortunate the way that it worked out. We talked about this, like me parachuting in on the baseball season and parachuting in on success. And I definitely don't want to be the guy who parachutes in and piles on and says all these negative things about the baseball program. But I will offer this up. Like, there are some people, whether it be in the media or not in the media, whether it be on the radio or in writing or whether it just be on Twitter, right? Just having opinions. There might be some people who will look to the past or the present or the future to figure out why this happened and how can it not happen again and all that type of stuff. They'll bring up solutions. They'll bring up problems. They'll say they have to do this or they have to do that. They got to get, better pitching development, or they have to, recruit us. We're going to offer up all these different solutions as to why this can't happen again, why Nebraska can't host a regional and not make it to the Sunday game. I'll just say this plainly. I don't think you have to do any of that. I don't think this is a macro issue whatsoever. I just think they played terribly. I just think they were bad. I think they had an opportunity to, get to a super regional. They put themselves in an advantageous situation by being able to host their own regional, to have a massive crowd, a massive a field of support for them behind them in the NCAA baseball playoffs. And they just didn't play well. Just plain and simple. They didn't pitch as well as they needed to pitch. They did not hit as well as they needed to hit. And defense has been one of the strong suits of this team the entirety of the season. They are literally one of the best defensive teams in the country. It's been something that they've been able to consistently hang their hat on game in and game out this season. And it was a belief that that type of play, that style of play, their great defense could travel to any sort of field across the country. And unfortunately, it didn't even travel to their home field. 4 errors in 3 games. A couple of them were very costly. The drop against Ole Miss, definitely costly. The not turning that double play in the early parts of the game against Arizona State, very costly. They just, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think, there's some bigger issue that caused all of this. I just don't think they showed up during the weekend. They just did not play their best baseball that we were accustomed to them playing. And it's incredibly, incredibly disappointing considering the fact of how great of a season that they had, 40-plus wins, hosting a regional. It definitely does stain the season just a little bit. You're going to look back and you're going to say, hey, they still had a hell of a year. And you're still going to remember, Dylan Carey and Josh Overbeek and all those guys. You're going to remember them very fondly, but you definitely will remind yourself, hey, remember they didn't even make the regional final, Yeah, I mean, they didn't even get to the Sunday night game in the Lincoln Regional they hosted. That's tough. That's really tough.
The biggest concern going into this series was pretty much, you mentioned Nebraska's defense having it very tough, but the offense just scoring enough runs, how many runs they are going to need to win these games. They were in it on that Ole Miss game until that 6th inning where it got loud. And
that 6th inning was awesome. That 6th inning was tense. It had a ton of energy, but bases loaded, 1 out.
Yeah,
you got to come through. You got to come through there. And
weren't able to come through on that as
tough.
Well.
So it's just one of those things where it's, unfortunately, this is just kind of how baseball is. Some weeks you got it, some weeks you don't. And unfortunately, they hosted a regional, they accomplished a phenomenal goal, and they didn't show up to the ballpark. They just did not play well at all. And it was wildly disappointing, especially considering the fact that it's one thing to just get beat. Right. It's one thing to just, all right, hey, they were the better team. It's another thing when you start shooting yourself in the foot. 4 errors over 3 games.
Especially in these prove-it games against power conference opponents, Arizona State and Ole Miss.
And let's not beat around the bush here. It was a tough draw. It was very, very tough draw. It was going to be, from the get-go, pretty difficult for them to get out of this regional. And, that's just kind of the nature of the game. Sometimes, and we talk about this more so with basketball, right? Sometimes things open up for you, right? Sometimes you get the path, right? And sometimes you just don't. Sometimes you got to play Auburn in the 2nd round, and they're big and they're physical, and they match up terribly with you, kind of referencing Creighton from 2 years ago. And sometimes Iowa beats Florida, and you go, wow, we already beat this team this year. We already played this team twice. We know exactly what we're trying to do here. And, you talk about missed opportunities. That was definitely one of them from a couple of months ago. But it's just one of those things where, they got a tough field. They got a tough matchup. Ole Miss was a team that was built like a regional host, and Arizona State, people, reading all the articles and listening to people who are experts on this stuff, that was a team that people thought, whoa, I thought they'd be a 2 seed. Yeah. And so to get those 2 teams was tough, but at the same time,
it was a good challenge for Nebraska, but they weren't able to overcome that challenge. But I would say right on this momentum, after getting a regional at home for the first time in 18 years, this is the opportunity to move forward. And there's a lot more.
There's some momentum to be built off this. But like I was mentioning, it's one thing to get beat.
Yeah.
It's another thing to walk 8 guys and hit 1 batter and have multiple errors that end up costing you runs. That's a whole other thing. And you got to give them some credit. They battled to the very end, made it a 3-run game, but it was too little. Too late. Couldn't get it done. Let's hit a break here after talking about baseball, and we'll talk about the other ball and diamond sport that, unfortunately, the magical season did not end the way that you wanted it to, but it'll be fascinating to see what happens next. I'm very interested to see what happens to Nebraska softball following Jordy Fromm now exhausting her eligibility and no longer going to be playing, one of the greatest collegiate softball careers we have ever seen. Hell of an accomplishment for her, an incredible story. We talk about all of that stuff coming up next here on Middays with Matt.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Some interesting news coming out of the NFL. Not the news that maybe people are expecting when it comes to wide receivers. Everyone's expecting A.J. Brown, obviously, to get traded to the New England Patriots.
Yeah, it's going to happen at some point. It's June 1st. Stuff is changing with the NFL.
We have another NFC East team making a wide receiver acquisition. Odell Beckham Jr. going to the New York Giants reunion, baby.
Wow, he's going back.
A reunion between the Giants and Odell 12 years after his kind of Odell Beckham Jr.'s rookie season was a landmark moment in my life. I mean, for the kids who are my age, you remember that season. You remember him, breaking into the scene, and obviously he was a stud at LSU, but to be in the Big Apple, to be as explosive and entertaining as he was, I mean, he was a sight to see. He was in his prime, man. He was so explosive, so fast, so crafty. A very interesting career for Odell, in my opinion.
Speaking of interesting career, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I was fortunate to see him play in person when the Giants were at Lambeau Field for Sunday night in 2016. So I was with a group of guys heckling at Odell Beckham Jr. He was doing the one-hand catch drills. I got a good video of him I could post later on. But we got into his head that he blew a kiss towards our group of people heckling at him. But I think that game, this was a year where Odell Beckham Jr. had his thing with the kicking net, and I think after he scored a touchdown in that game,
about the thing with the kicking net. I forgot he got hit by the kicking net.
After he scored an amazing touchdown near the end of that game, he proposed to the kicking net on their sideline.
That's fun.
If I remember that happening.
He had a very interesting career. Had a very interesting career. I think you have to go back to that LA Rams Super Bowl. And first off, he was an integral part of them eventually winning the Super Bowl. I would love to hear what John Bishop thinks about Odell Beckham Jr. because you don't think of him as a Ram.
No.
But he definitely did help lead that team to their Super Bowl victory. And then if he doesn't tear his ACL, on the turf, on the logo, he probably ends up winning the Super Bowl MVP. I mean, he was absolutely dynamite to begin that game. How much different is his career really? You gotta think if he doesn't tear his ACL in the Super Bowl, he probably gets another big contract after that. He's probably looked at upon as a real asset as a wide receiver in the NFL. Just kind of one of those things where it's a what if that I love the what ifs that we don't really talk about, right? There are some obvious what ifs in sports, but that's more of a niche one of what does his career look like if he doesn't tear his ACL in that Super Bowl? And then obviously he's had these, kind of these recent stints, Baltimore, Miami, hasn't really made that big of an impact from a production standpoint. He really hasn't been the same since recovering from that ACL injury. But now going back to New York, another weapon for Jackson Dart, a veteran presence. And you'd also have to talk about how when Odell got traded to the Cleveland Browns, that was a big moment for the Browns, especially with Jarvis Landry. A lot of people thought, hey, this is going to be the turning point for Cleveland. And
they had that one season.
Had that 1 year, and then it didn't really result into what they wanted. But Odell Beckham Jr. going back to New York. Another interesting, you mentioned it, Joe, it's June 1st. A lot of things are happening in the NFL. Sources, this is from Adam Schefter about 20 minutes ago. 10-time Pro Bowl quarterback, Russell Wilson. Wow, he made 10 Pro Bowls.
Wow. Is he going to TV now?
Is finalizing a deal to become a CBS sports analyst. Wilson won a Super Bowl, the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, and now leaves the NFL to become an analyst on the network's pregame show.
Okay.
That includes James Brown, Nate Burleson, and Bill Cowher. So Russell Wilson not going in the booth, but going on the panel.
I'm wondering,
is this a tryout, Joey? You are the sport analyst expert. Is this a tryout on the panel to get to the booth? And if we want to add to this, who does he kick out of the CBS?
Here's what I think JJ Watt upgrades to the number 1 booth, and then Russell Wilson would go to the number 2 with Ian Eagle.
Okay.
That's my prediction. Because JJ Watt's done it for a couple of years now. He's done a great job with Ian Eagle for CBS.
Who's the number 1 booth for?
I think Tony Romo's going to eventually be gone.
Oh, so it would be Watt and Nance.
Yeah, Watt and Nance. Tony Romo gets booted out because he's not good.
Wow, you think they give Tony the boot?
I think they will once his contract is
I
up.
think Watt's good. I think Watt's good.
I think Watt will eventually be in the number one.
I think we are
crew.
definitely in the phase, just because of how big the NFL is that we are very, very critical of color commentators.
Yeah.
Especially the former player color commentators. It's a tough crowd, okay? To please the NFL crowd from a color commentator perspective is not easy. There are some guys, and I'll tell you this, it's a cutthroat job. I mean, it is one of those things where if they love you, you will be around forever. And if they don't, they will get you out quick. Chris Collinsworth obviously has been around for a very, very long time because he's good at what he does.
Yes.
I've always liked Collinsworth, always will like Collinsworth, even though it is kind of, now here's a guy. But if you are bad, they will Jason Witten you so quick. They will get you out of there. They'll force you back to playing football if you're not good as a color commentator in those booths.
Or they might send you to the Booger McFarland crane that was driving around the field.
Booger has figured it out since he's been phenomenal in the sport analyst world.
He's done great.
In my opinion. Matt goes to the YouTube chat. CBS told Romo to stop predicting plays and he lost all his mojo.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, that really was it. That really was it.
Became a thing in that AFC Championship game between the Patriots and the Chiefs. And I was amazed with him just correctly predicting what was going to happen on that game-winning drive.
I'm shocked though that he hasn't even been able to like mold it in subtly. Like he just doesn't do it at all anymore. You know, like I would think maybe Matt's right. Maybe it did just kind of kill his mojo. I mean, it was, if I'm being real, that bit was getting a little old for me about him predicting all of the plays. So I think it was really cool. And frankly, Joey, something we haven't really seen before, you know, like we hadn't really seen a color commentator, at least that accurately, that consistently been able to be like, run to the right. Here comes a little screen to the left.
Consecutive plays too.
Like he did it was very interesting. It was getting a little old for me. Some people absolutely loved it, but I'm shocked that he doesn't even do it just a little bit now. So that'll be interesting. So Russell Wilson going to be an analyst for CBS Sports. I don't think it's going to work out. He's kind of a corny guy, you know. He's trying. He forces himself to be funny. He forces himself to be relatable. And you know, I think Burleson and Cower will do a good job of bringing him in and you know making him feel like one of the guys. And I think it'll be fine. But I just don't see him being a good analyst. I don't see him being a good color commentator. I could see him doing well on maybe he does well on the panel, but I could not see him being great at calling games. It just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't vibe with me.
And I think it's a good start for him to just be in the studio first, just get the feel for things for a year or two, and then
like I want
to test it out with the lower tier crew and then move from there. I know Tony Romo, JJ Watt had it easy on their end, being able to get the prestigious roles of the number 1, number 2 crew. Drew Brees had that opportunity with NBC, but then he let that go, and then he's on Fox now. It'll be interesting.
I'm just it's one of those things where I would not mind at all.
Now
one of these quarterbacks or one of these famous players retired and they just fell off the face of the earth.
Now here's a question for you: since CBS will have, for going towards college football, they'll have probably doubleheader, they'll be having triple header stuff. Do you think CBS would send Russell Wilson to a college football game?
God, no. Do not do that.
There's potential. He could do the Nebraska-Iowa game. Imagine Russell Wilson calling Nebraska-Iowa on Black Friday.
Yucky.
Good old Big Ten quarterback in the booth.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
1-year starter from Wisconsin.
With Wilson, I don't. At least though he will do his homework. He seems like the type of guy he will study up. He will be prepared.
It's just
unlike some commentators in the booth. Let's talk about Nebraska softball. Nebraska softball lost yesterday to Texas. I said earlier in our rundown, it's been since like a Bears game that my mood has flipped so drastically from coming out of commercial and going into commercial. Coming out of the commercial, you're sitting there and you're thinking, wow, this might be one of the greatest Husker athletic performances I've ever seen. You know, Jordy Fromm is literally 5 outs away from no-hitting Texas in the Women's College World Series and defeating them 1-0 off the home run that she hit. It would have been, if she completed that no-hitter, it would have been one of the most remarkable singular athletic performances I have ever seen. To score the only run for your team and then proceed to shut out the team you're playing against would have been absolutely remarkable. And it's so funny. She is so good at this sport that it just felt like it was going to happen. It just felt like it was going to occur. And, you know, the thing I've noticed by watching a lot of Nebraska softball over the last couple of weeks is that, you know, when Jordy settles in, when she really gets rolling in those middle innings to the back innings, there's nothing you can do about it. And she looked settled in. She was rolling. She was a machine. And then all it takes is a little bloop single, hard hit ball, home run, game over. And it is heartbreaking, man. It's heartbreaking. And, you know, they only scored 7 runs in 3 games, but that's just kind of how they've been, especially against these really, really good teams. It's an awesome pitching staff with Jordy and Alexis Jensen. And, you know, it just flipped on a dime. Just on a dime. Yeah. You go from being like, hey, this is storybook. This is classic Jordy Fromm. This is what she does. This is how good she is. This is why she's a 4-time All-American, 2-time national champion, player of the year, dual, you know, threat with both the bat and pitching. You're like, all right, this makes total sense. Because then you head in that commercial break and it was over. And it's just their offense, especially in the NCAA tournament, just overall hadn't been that explosive. You know, they just haven't been a team during these playoffs that have been racking up the runs, right? I mean, I don't think they scored over. I think the most amount of runs they scored maybe in the playoffs was like 5 runs, and that was against Arkansas, if I'm not mistaken, because they only scored 4 against South Dakota. Or did they?
No, they scored squash? 8. They beat Oklahoma State 8-1.
Oh, good point. Great point. Joey Colbert. There you go.
They dominated in that.
But still, you know, it's one of those things that in the College World Series, you know, the offense has never got going. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter that the offense wasn't getting going. No, Jordy was absolutely incredible. But then it just kind of felt like when it was 3-1, it was probably it. It was probably over.
Chain reaction from that first hit, and then the home run happened, of course.
I will be fascinated to see what happens to Nebraska softball now. I will be fascinated to see what the investment is from the athletic department. Do they get a bigger piece of the rev share pie? Do they get a little bit more investment? What happens in terms of their popularity? Softball's hot. It was hot this season. I mean, it's a historic team, one of the best teams that Rhonda Revelle has ever had. Go to the College World Series, but it's just so remarkable to me, the impact that one player can have. Nate Rohr said it best. What other player that their arrival immediately causes stadium renovation? What player, as soon as they get onto campus, you go, we're going to need more seats. That's what they did with Jordy Fromm. And they had 3,200 people, 3,200 people going to softball games. Absolutely incredible. What happens after this? Does Nebraska make more an investment and say, hey, this is something that we want to do every single season? We want to become more like, when we think of Nebraska being a women's athletics power, we immediately think of volleyball, right? Yeah. But when you're selling out and you're setting records and you're going to the College World Series in softball, that's no easy task, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Does Jordy Fromm's career and her impact end up having after effects that causes Nebraska softball to get more an investment? And does this become a regular thing, or is this a flash in the pan? I think that is, and I can't answer that question. That's a question I don't really know the answer to. And you're only, only time will tell. Was this a 2-year, technically 3-year stretch where you go, hey, that was fun. That was great. Remember when we did that? Remember when they had Jordy Fromm? Or will this be a benchmark moment? Will this be a point in history where we say, you know what, that's what made Nebraska a consistent softball power. That's what made Nebraska consistently investing to the point where they are atop the Big Ten, where they are competing to go to Oklahoma City every single year in and year out. That's what turned the tide. Or is this just a, hey, that was fun. Hey, that was cool. And by the way, it's not like Nebraska softball was a poverty program
No, it
before.
wasn't.
Like before Jordy came, they had won a Big Ten, softball tournament. Like they were going to the NCAA tournament. They were going to the playoffs. Like there were some really good players and good teams that Rhonda had. They hadn't been to the College World Series in 13 years before Jordy showed up.
And they haven't won a game there in over 2 decades. So they reached that milestone as well.
So I think this would be one of the more interesting things, especially, this is something that can only really happen in this era. At no other point really in college athletics can you point to, I guess, consistently being like, oh, the acquisition of that player in the transfer portal and their ability to play right away inspired us to then make more of an investment in the sport for us to consistently be great at it. Like that is kind of one of those things where, that is the nature of the transfer portal, NIL, rev share era, where you can just go ahead and do this. And you can say, okay, now, hey, we're Indiana, we're a football school now. We can put all the money we want into this now. Like this is our thing. Where with softball, it'll be interesting to see, what does Troy Dannon decide in terms of, do they get more slice of the pie? Say this, when basketball went on their run, there was a line of people who were ready to donate. There was a line of people who were ready to put money in that hat and ready to give to that team because they wanted that success again. I'm curious, obviously basketball, way more of a money-making sport, basketball more popular overall than softball, but is there kind of, and I say all that to be like, this would be on a smaller level in terms of the dollars, but is there a vigor to do that? Is there a motivation to, okay, hey, I want to give my money to softball? Because look, this is the thing about Nebraska athletics, and this is what I love about Nebraska athletics. If you build it, they will come, man. If you build it, they will come. Do you know what people in Nebraska like more than anything? They like to win. Okay? If you win, you are golden, right? And not only just if you win, you'll get, but no. If you win, people are going to come to the games. People are going to buy your jerseys. People are going to cheer as loud as they possibly can. People are going to talk about you on Twitter. People are going to talk about you at the bar. They'll talk about you at the golf course. There will be consistent conversations and dialogue about your sport, whatever the sport is. Okay.
Pretty much whenever the time is.
Yeah. When you win. And so I'm going to be very interested and fascinated to see what the sport, what the future and the investment is on softball from this point on. I can't tell you. I really can't. Could this be the moment where, hey, we're going to put the foot in the ground and we can, Nebraska softball going to Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's going to have to get used to Husker fans, or it'll be a flash. It'll be a, hey, that was cool. That was great. It'll be very, very interesting to see what the next steps for Nebraska softball is after they unfortunately are defeated by Texas in the Women's College World Series. Let's hit a break here. We'll talk a little bit more football. We'll take a call on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. We'll also want to remind you to go ahead and call us on the Equitable Bank, or not call us, email us on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. Equitable Bank, they take banking personally. And we've been on the Zone Twitter feed all day long, which is always powered by Liquid Trucking, Pesky Blues. Shout out. Let's hit a break, talk a little bit more football, and take a call from Andrew. Coming up next here on Middays with Matt.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Alrighty, Andrew's on the line. We'll go to the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. Andrew, how are you? Good to hear from you.
Hey guys, I did feel sorry for Nebraska softball. That was a brutal way to lose.
Absolutely.
Just brutal.
Gut punch. Gut punch, groin kick, however the hell you want to call it. That was terrible. Absolutely.
Texas. But anyway.
Good point.
So Creighton got the number one kid out in Nebraska this weekend.
Yeah. London Dotto.
He's a 3-star prospect. Is he a development piece?
No, I want to call him a development piece. I think he's like the 109th player in the country or something like that. It's pretty damn good.
I don't know much about the guy. What can you tell me about the guy?
I can't tell much about you either. I don't really following too much of Creighton, to be honest with you. But I can tell you that Nebraska wanted him, and he was a guy on their 2027 board, and Creighton ended up getting him. And once again, Creighton getting the top prospects out of the state. Pretty big deal.
Okay, I just didn't know much about him, but Nebraska softball should be proud of what they did.
I agree.
I mean, that was pretty good. Same with their baseball. But once you're down 10, it's hard to come back from that.
Is that well, yeah. I mean, once you're down 11-1, it's pretty hard to make a comeback. They almost did it though. They only lost 11-8. Had a good 7th inning. At least they didn't give up.
Are you ready for U.S. soccer?
No, I'm not. I'm not ready for U.S. soccer. I have not cared this less about a World Cup in my entire life.
Why not?
Because we've been doing this whole golden age and golden era of USA soccer for the last 10 years, it feels like now. And it's once again, it's like people are like, oh, maybe they'll get out of the group. I'm just kind of sick and tired of it. I don't even think Pulisic just scored a goal this year in Italy.
Do you even watch it?
Will I watch the World Cup? Yeah, I'll watch it. But I watched the last time they were in the World Cup, and I watched the time before that. It's just not something they're great at. And I used to be really into soccer, Andrew. I used to be like really, really into when it was the BPL, before it was the EPL, it was the Barclays Premier League back when I was really into it. And that was when Man City was really coming on, and Aguero and Balotelli and Vincent Kompany and Hart, and you had Arsenal was pretty good back then too. Everton was way better then than they are now. They had Romelu Lukaku. If you remember that guy, was a great striker. I was really into it. But now I'm not. Now I'm not really as into it as I used to be quite honest with you. And all these young guys, like I don't know them as well as I used to know the old guard and stuff like that. I'll still watch it though. Let's go sport. I enjoy sport.
Why do you think the U.S., with all the resources they have, sucks so bad at soccer?
I could, you know what, Andrew? I could not tell you. It doesn't make any sense to me either. It seems like we put a lot of thought and effort, and there are a lot of different people who have opinions on it, who want, USA soccer to be good, and yet they aren't. I mean, it does really boil down to the fact that soccer is just not nearly as a highly thought of sport, or at least America doesn't really, they don't go, hey, soccer's our sport, right? We say that about football. We say that about baseball. We say that about, basketball. We don't really say that about soccer. So I just think that, other countries, that's their sport. That's what they invest the most in. So I think it's just kind of, there'll probably be somebody more educated on it to talk about it. I'm not a soccer guy.
It's just that. And you can go to Costco and get a little World Cup soccer ball and flush. So,
I'll probably get that beer ball from Miller Lite. I appreciate it though, Andrew. Thank you for the call. Quizzing me on why don't the World Cup in soccer.
It's hard to believe that's starting in 11 days.
How do you feel about it? Are you fired up about it? I don't.
I like watching the World Cup. It's fun to watch. It's good filler for my sports world because I don't get into baseball that much through the summer. I'll get into baseball once. Obviously, there's the College World Series, but for professional baseball, it's not until the playoffs begin. So this time around with the World Cup happening, it gets me something to look forward to watching.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like
I know
there is a lot less excitement from non-soccer people. Is my read.
I know
on it.
what
but
you-
it's in America, so that'll be fun.
I'm not as much excited watching the U.S. as more just watching everybody else performs. It's always fun. It's especially once we get to the knockout rounds and you get the penalty kicks. Those tend to be very exciting.
Did you watch the Champions League final this weekend?
No, I did not, but I heard what happened.
Yeah, it was tough. The Gunners did not come through. Bad penalty kicks. I feel like every time that I watch an English team and PKs, they end up losing.
They end up losing. They end up choking. That's what they
Back-to-back
do.
championships though for Paris Saint-Germain. Do you have a favorite PSG player, former or current to Joey Colbert?
No, I don't have any favorites. I just watch it for fun.
I was a Thiago Silva man growing up. Look him
Love
up.
to hear it.
Brazilian cornerback, absolute stud. Had some really good PSG teams back in the day. Zlatan Ibrahimovic was also a PSG player.
Yeah, I was
I
familiar.
think Diego
with that.
Alves was on that team as well. A lot of really good. PSG's, they're legit. And they got Kylian Mbappe. All right, we're going to take a break. And coming up next, let's talk about Victor Wembanyama and Mike Breen and the odd news with Josh Odd Son here on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Odd Son.
All right, Josh, let's do the odd news, buddy. We got a Florida, Ohio, any of those?
I do have a Florida story.
Let's
today.
go. All right, we will start with that. Let's go with man. Let's go with street, and let's go with an alligator.
You know, not as far off as you normally are.
All right. Well, there's a little backhanded compliment there.
A Florida man is behind bars after deputies say he was found with his pants down outside a Palm Coast Taco Bell with a live fish in his backpack.
Nice. Well, wait. How's the fish alive? The fish should be dead.
Maybe we'll read on here.
Oh, go ahead.
Just before 1 a.m. Wednesday, employees at the Taco Bell reported a man behaving suspiciously near a side door of the restaurant. When deputies with the sheriff's office arrived, 28-year-old Brandon Erzeri was still outside the business with his pants down, or as authorities said, with, quote, his chimichanga out.
Nice.
Seems a little
that will
crass for a police report.
not be on the menu at my place, the Chongas. That will not be happening.
He quickly began covering himself when law enforcement approached. After his arrest, deputies say they discovered a live betta fish in a plastic container inside his backpack. The fish, later named Baja Blast,
nice. That's a good one.
Was turned over to the Humane Society, where staff say it is doing well.
Wow. So they saved the fish.
Yes.
Okay. Baja
saved the life.
Well.
Yeah.
I was down at the Baja, and then Hogan ratted me out to Vince. That's my Jesse Ventura impression.
The sheriff's office they say, yes, we understand you have a lot of questions. Sadly, we do not have a lot of answers.
Have you ever been in those police briefings before? When they go through hey, this is what happened and this is the value of what was stolen and so on and so forth?
I haven't, but I have aired them, so I've listened to them start to finish.
They're very interesting. I went to one when I was working at KLIN. I listened to a ton of them, because that's what we had to do. But I went to one specifically, and it's a very interesting place to be in, to having somebody explain to you what actually happened, what the details were, and that the fact that the Ford Ranger cost $15,000, to which everybody responded, "No way that Ford Ranger cost $15,000.
Right value.
You got to go to you're going to the wrong Kelly Blue Book there. you gotta show me the Carfax." So, all right, what's our next story?
Normally I tell you someone's broken a world record. You tell me it's stupid,
Yes.
and most of the time it is.
Yes.
But David Rush, that's a name you've heard on this segment before. He holds the most concurrent Guinness World Records.
This is like 346 or something
something like that.
Something stupid like that.
His latest is
what he break the most toothpicks with his tongue in a minute and a half or something dumb.
I don't want to say this is an achievement because I don't want to give merit to something that doesn't deserve it. But
good luck with that, Dan.
Man balances running chainsaw on his chin for over 4 minutes.
That is stupid.
That is stupid,
That
but
is so dumb.
it could very easily go horribly
Didn't
wrong.
there used to be that show like Dumb Ways to Die or something like that?
Yes,
or 100 Ways to Die or something like that?
Feels like it was on Spike.
That would be a Spike television or maybe something that's like on super, super late on TLC, something like, oh, what the hell's going on here? Yeah, that's dumb. That's stupid. Why would you ever attempt that? It's not an achievement. It's just ridiculous.
I agree. It's not an achievement, but you didn't die or maim yourself. So actually,
I just don't know. Job. My whole thing has been like all of these random ass made up world records, right? That nobody would ever attempt outside of it being a world record. Like, what is the point? Like, I just feel like you're, and maybe look, I'm on the radio, so I shouldn't shame people for wanting attention, right? But like, at the same time, it's just so I just don't get it. I think it's dumb.
When I was a kid at the Scholastic Book Fair, I would always get the Guinness Book of World Records, and I'd thumb through it, and it'd be like the tallest person on the planet.
Very standard
The-
things.
like-
the fastest person
Yeah,
on the planet,
like,
the
wow.
slowest person
Oh,
on the planet,
okay.
the oldest, the youngest. Not how far can you blow a pea?
Yeah.
I don't what? I don't care. I don't care how long you can consecutively roll over medicine balls. I don't care how far you travel doing that. I don't care.
I'm with you on this.
This whole Guinness Book of World Records thing is so dumb to me. Some of it is cool. Some of it is like, hey, she has the longest hair, or the
longest fingernails.
longest
That was
fingernails,
always
yes.
one that I was in the
Or,
book. I was like, how do you live?
You
How
know,
do you
the
live like
most
that?
tattoos or the most piercing. Like, oh, okay, very, very curious stuff. Some of this stuff is so. What didn't he break a record for most toothpicks broken consecutively in under a minute and a half or something dumb like that?
Yeah, I believe he had to go down the table and break toothpicks like one at a time. Or
I think
something.
he broke. I think it was the most in a minute, and he broke like 70, which is breaking less than 1 second. Sort of impressive, but still dumb, still stupid. Final odd news story.
We go to South Carolina, where authorities are questioning what that sonic boom was over the weekend. There was also a meteorite. Maybe, I'm not sure the difference. I don't need anyone to call in and correct me.
Neither do I.
You know what I'm talking about. It hit water in Massachusetts. I imagine this isn't that, but the U.S. Geological Survey confirmed an incident just before 5:30 p.m. Thursday. It was not an earthquake, but a sonic boom, estimated to have originated in the St. Andrews area before traveling across multiple counties.
My God.
Including the Columbia area.
Okay.
Go Gamecocks. And the Midlands. The Geological Survey said its equipment is not calibrated to measure sonic booms, so the event on its scale registered as 0.0.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I'd be looking around being like, does it seem like 0.0 to me?
Yeah.
Seems like something definitely happened
I
here.
think your machine's broke, Bill. NASA officials say the boom does not appear to have originated in space.
Okay.
There was no reports of a fireball or meteor over the area at the time. So the plot thickens. Maybe a meth lab went wrong in South Carolina or something. I don't know.
Maybe aliens.
Interesting.
Or Superman. Maybe Superman is in Columbia, South Carolina.
I prove he isn't.
Have you ever seen me in a room with Batman before?
I haven't. You might be Batman.
I'm playing that Batman Lego video game right now.
Yeah.
I've already mentioned this.
Yeah.
I cannot stop.
It looked really good.
Dude,
I can't.
And
deny it.
their commercials on it, like that you're seeing on ESPN and everything, that is what the game looks like. Like that is exactly how that game plays. Me and roommate Dan played it for 2 hours last night.
Hell yeah.
I know. And now we're thinking about like doing the whole Lego Star Wars saga, like just playing.
I have all of those. I've never played them. There was like on sale for like,
Really?
hey, it's $12, and I was like, well, if I ever want to play it, now's the time to buy it.
Mission 1, Episode 3, by far my favorite mission. If you know, you know.
Okay.
It's where you're flying through the 2 spaceships to get to Count Dooku's ship. It's that one, like in the movie where they fly through with the buzz droids and everything like that, and they got to shoot down the droidicas and all that, and they got to make sure that they get through the force field. Such a great mission. I love those games growing up. Now I'm playing Lego Batman as a 24-year-old. Mom, I'm all grown up. Good job, Josh Hodson. Phenomenal. Odd news stories. Always good when we can mix in a Florida. Always good when we can get one in there. That's always a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Prairie Flower Casino text line. John, who's been texting a lot.
Hi, John.
Let's do the segment where we read all of these things from John. How in the hell can you get excited about a sport that can and routinely does have games that end in a 0-0 tie? John also said, let's not talk about the NBA. It can't end soon enough. Then he wrote, a meteorite is a meteor that actually makes it to the surface of the earth. So John, after saying, hey, John, don't correct us.
I knew someone would.
And that's
fine. I like knowing the correct way to do things.
And then instead of John finally just texted in right now as we're reading all his text, maybe instead of playing video games, you and Dan should be preparing to move.
Sounds like they did that last week. And
I'm kind of good right now. I took down all my decorations in my room. Mainly all the clothes are packed. I did discuss with my moving coordinator, Mike Schaefer, what I were to do with all of my hung up clothes. We are not packing the clothes. We're just going to move them hung as they are from apartment to apartment. So that's kind of the plan right now.
Because you're not moving far. Like, do you have to get in the car?
It's no.
Okay.
Thank God. Thank God.
So are you just dragging it across the courtyard or whatever?
But here's the thing. It's a long walk. Like we are where we live. We are at like the front of the apartment complex. Okay. The new apartment is in the back of the apartment complex. And it's like a literal 2 street block walk almost from where we're at to where we're going. So now we are only going up 1 floor, and there's a big elevator that we can do that with. It'll just be we'll have to have a dolly and we'll have to move it across. I am a little bit worried about the couch. I have not told Dan that yet. I'm not trying to like fearmonger or freak Dan out. And I think he would disagree, which is why I don't say this, because I just don't want to have an argument about it. I think the couch is going to be a lot harder to move than he thinks. He thinks it's going to be very easy. I do not think it's going
What
to be
floor are you on now, and what
the
floor
first
are you
floor?
moving
I'm
to?
on the first floor now, and we're going to be on the second floor.
Okay. Have you examined the staircase? I mean,
we have not.
Other people
Great
have
question.
couches.
Great question. We have not examined the staircase. Dan did mention that the elevator on the back side of the apartment complex is bigger. It's a bigger elevator than the one in the front part.
Great. Elevator.
We have an elevator.
Okay, so
there is an elevator. Yes.
You're not winding a couch up a staircase then.
As of right now, no.
Excellent.
That is not the plan. My only cause for concern, though, is Dan seems to have forgotten that it was a real pain in the ass to get the couch into the old apartment. Like it was a pretty Herculean effort to get it through the door. I am worried about getting it back through the door and then getting it through another door. It was not an easy process, and I feel like he's forgotten that, and I certainly have not, because I was the one doing a lot of the pushing. So we will see. I'm also like I won't be here on Friday.
That's right. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Won't be here on Friday to make sure we get all this done as quickly as possible. Dan will not be because he was just unable to get work off. So a lot of the beginning stuff will be a lot of me doing a lot of this stuff. So I'm considering getting a friend and paying him in beer. That's a thought that's gone through my head. I don't know if I need that though. Like I'm being a little macho right now, thinking I can just get this done maybe by myself. Let's go to the text line. We have a couple of texts here. John goes, "Where are your towels?" In my closet. Corey goes, "Just because it's running doesn't mean the chain is turning." Oh. I feel like that would defeat the purpose in terms of balancing a running chainsaw on your chin. Like, what's the point if the chainsaw isn't going?
That makes a lot more sense.
But
actually.
the motor is on. The motor is just going.
Motor's on, so it's vibrating. But yeah, there might not be a blade on that.
Well, I feel like the point is the blade is going. I feel like that has to be the point. Isn't the point like flirting with death? Isn't that the cool part of the record?
Yeah.
You're just telling me you just balanced a motor on your chin. Is that an accomplishment?
That makes a lot more sense now that you're saying it that way. Yeah. Why would there be a blade on there?
From the 310.
Hi, 310.
The Guinness Book of World Records used to be a great human achievement. Today, it's stupid and it's a bunch of, quote, manufactured stunts.
Precisely.
From the 402.
Hi, 402.
Would move your couch for beer, not your roommate Dan. That's the guy that's his contact name, not your roommate Dan.
Oh, okay.
He goes, "I would move your couch for beer."
And we've confirmed this is not your roommate Dan?
No, I've looked at the number.
Mm-hmm.
Also, too, roommate Dan would just text me.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yeah, sure.
And would just say, "Hey, this is what I think." Also, roommate Dan's mother, great woman, phenomenal person.
Okay.
She listens a lot to this show.
Hi, Dan's mom.
Oftentimes, she will communicate things back to Dan if it's of importance. There was one time where there was something wrong in the apartment, and then Dan brought something back to the apartment. It was like, "Hey, this is for this." Mom heard it on the radio. I'm like, "Oh, perfect." From J-Man, Matt, you're a child for playing Lego Batman as I play Lego Star Wars, LOL. I love it. We'll probably play it tonight.
Hello.
I just can't stop playing it. I also cannot.
I don't want you to.
Thank you, Josh. This is what I need. I mean, you're just so incredibly supportive in terms of everything I'm doing in my life, and it makes it a little easier when you have Happer and Schaefer, who, rightfully at times definitely do correct things. Oh, by the way, we did find a challenge for me to do while you were gone when Joey was producing. We found a challenge.
Okay.
The Stellinator.
Yes. Now, I don't have all the details here, but there was a fire at our dearly beloved Stella's.
Someone texted in and said it's currently closed right now.
They do some pop-ups from time to time. I don't know if the Stellinator is part of their pop-ups.
When they get back going,
yeah,
$65. 6 burger patties, 6 fried eggs, 6 slices of cheese, 12 strips of bacon, lettuce, tomato, fried onions, pickles, jalapeno, peanut butter, and buns with an order of fries. How well do you think I would do? The more I look at it, the more I think I can do it.
I don't know how one unhinges their jaw to the point of.
So I'm thinking fork and knife.
Okay.
I'm thinking I go fork and knife.
Now it's going to slow you down, which is going to fill your stomach.
I will say, well, that's a great point. You do have to scarf this thing down because the longer you let it sit in there, the more room it's going to take up.
You got to get at least halfway through it before you realize you've gotten halfway through it.
Well, some people you have to they like to drink water when they do this stuff. The thing is, if you have bread, the water activates the bread in your stomach and then it fills up a little bit more. So you actually don't want to drink a ton of water unless you're speed eating, which is like what Joey Chestnut does. I'm pretty confidently, I'm at the point where I keep looking at it and I get more confident in what I can do. I think it would just be the fries. I think I would eat the whole burger, but the fries would slow me down. I'm also worried about the combination of jalapeno, onions, and peanut butter for my stomach. I think my acid reflux, that is going to be, like if you asked me to remove one item, I would remove the grilled onions. I love grilled onions on a hot dog. Grilled onions on a burger, hit or miss for me. I do love the crispy onions on a burger. Dude, I mess with crispy onions on a burger. With the barbecue sauce too. They always call every all right. This is a Midwest complaint.
Okay.
Every burger joint or a sport bar that I go to has what they call a cowboy burger.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Which is just, instead of ketchup, it's barbecue sauce.
That's right.
And they put crispy onions. Mm-hmm. And
maybe they'll do a pepper jack cheese instead of a cheddar, but
great job, Josh. Mm-hmm. Every Midwest place has their form of a cowboy burger. Can we get more creative? Can we get a little? Can we open it up a little bit?
That is creative.
No, it's not. Not when everybody's doing it. Everybody has a cowboy burger. Mm-hmm. I'm sick and tired of the cowboy burger. Or they call it the Texas, or something like that, or the El Dorado. The El Dorado has ghost pepper cheese on it. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the cowboy burger, the Texas burger, or here's another one, the Western burger. But the thing about the Western is all they do differently is they put Chipotle sauce as opposed to putting barbecue sauce. That's the difference between the Western burger and the cowboy. We just need to open things a little bit more up in the cowboy game. That's what Jerry Jones has been saying as well. All right, last one before we take a break here and talk about Victor Wembanyama. Brian from Bellevue.
Hi, Brian.
Matt, talking about this burger makes me think of John Candy in The Great Outdoors. Is that a good comparison? I've never seen The Great Outdoors. Good movie?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a different type of That wasn't a good
Well,
that was a That was I don't like this movie as much as everybody else does.
That's probably what it is. I enjoy it. I like, now that he's gone, I enjoy getting to see John Candy. He's one of those people that I just see him and I'm like, oh, John Candy. Okay, great.
Okay. We have something big here.
Okay.
From Kenneth.
Hi, Kenneth.
This is a big moment. Kenneth, who's a dear friend of ours. Matt, what kind of burger do you want? I'll put the McMaster on the moon menu.
Whoa.
I believe he's talking about the crescent moon.
Hello.
This is big.
Yeah, you got to get this
I would
right.
really have to think about what would the McMaster be? Or we call it the Bad Takes burger. You know what?
A chimichanga floating in a bowl of clam chowder.
A New England clam chowder burger. That's the McMaster. If Kenneth is for real, I would have to think about this. Obviously, cheese would be on the burger. That's all I can think of.
Okay. They probably already have a cheeseburger. You're going to have to do more.
I'm going to have to be more creative.
Yes. After you just asked everyone to be more creative with their burgers.
And then, you ready? I'm going to throw ketchup on it and then onion.
Whoa.
And a pickle. How about that?
Platcat in the chat. Oh, Matt's going to bleep this up so bad. I can't wait. Parenthetically, love you, Matt.
All right, let's hit a break. We'll have to handle some business and make a burger before we talk about Victor Wembanyama here on the 1620 Zone Radio Network.
Whoa.
We have major breaking news.
Okay.
Bombshell breaking news from Adam Schefter.
Shefty.
The Browns are finalizing a trade that will send two-time Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett to the Los Angeles Rams, per Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero and me. In exchange for Garrett, the Rams are expected to send Pro Bowl edge Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round pick, and other draft pick compensation, and still being negotiated to the Browns. So not officially official. Still more things to be figured out. But as of right now, at least good enough to report, Myles Garrett is going to the Los Angeles Rams. Absolute bombshell. We have been waiting on the A.J. Brown trade. Where are the Philadelphia Eagles going to send A.J. Brown? Here's a little note.
Whoa.
Here's a little note about the A.J. Brown trade and how this affects this. When the A.J. Brown was being dealt out, okay, it was made clear that the other team involved in the A.J. Brown negotiations were the Los Angeles Rams, okay? It was the Patriots, and then it was also the Rams were in consideration. It was basically a sign that, hey, L.A. is willing to go all in this year. L.A. does not care about these draft picks. It does not matter that they already traded their other draft pick for Trent McDuffie. They were looking to make a big splash. This one is a massive, massive splash, sending Jared Verse, who is a very good player, by the way. Jared Verse, phenomenal player, but Myles Garrett, by far, the best defensive player in the NFL right now, going to the LA Rams. The Rams were already the Super Bowl favorite heading into this season. That only bolsters their chance at getting a second title for Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, and the LA Rams. What a trade. Still, they got to figure out the contract. Myles Garrett is going to get paid a ton of money over the next couple of years. Obviously, I think it's a depending on what the other draft pick compensation is for the Browns, it's pretty good. Verse is younger, Verse is great, Verse also cheaper, at least for right now. They're going to have to pay him eventually. And then to get draft compensation, 2027 draft, not bad at all. Granted, that pick is going to be pretty high. I mean, that'll be in the 28 to 32 range unless the LA Rams completely collapse and Matthew Stafford ends up getting hurt or anything that's just is absolutely terrible. But as of right now, what a trade for the Rams. F them picks. That's what they say. F them picks. They do not care. They do not care.
In.
I was just looking at where did I see this tweet? I saw this tweet on how have the Rams used their last first round draft pick since 2016. I think the last time they used a first round draft pick, do you know who they drafted? Jared Verse. That's the guy they ended up picking up.
That makes sense.
So in a way, they kind of go, hey, F them picks. And the one time that we did use our pick, here's what we're sending out for. Since 2016, here are the Rams draft picks in the first round. You ready for this?
Ready.
2016, Jared Goff. 2017, none. 2018, none. 2020, none. 2021, none. 2022, none. 2023, none.
You're saying none a lot.
2024, Jared Verse, who got traded for Myles Garrett. And by the way, Jared Goff got traded for Matthew Stafford. 2025, didn't have one. In 2026, only Ty Simpson. Since 2016 to 2026, the LA Rams have only selected one first-round draft pick that is currently on their roster. And hey, by the way, that guy is their backup quarterback. Do you know how good of a general manager you got to be to build the roster that they've built and not use your first round draft picks? You're just trading that away for Jalen Ramsey. You're trading that away for just high level football players, trading that away for Matthew Stafford. I mean, they have really been able to hit big time in the mid rounds of the draft, right? I mean, traded for Devontae Adams. They went ahead, or I think they signed Devontae actually, but that Puka Nacua pick, right? I mean, that just tells you all you need to know about what they did. Kyron Williams, he was a second round draft pick. Blake Corum, he was a third round draft pick. I mean, the LA Rams have been able to hit it big in terms of identifying valuable trades for themselves while also doing really well when it comes to free agency and then developing some late round draft picks. I've said this before, being a good franchise isn't just about drafting players and developing players and signing good free agents. It's also about putting yourself in a position to make trades like this. The LA Rams have been good enough and competitive enough and crafty enough with their resources to consistently put themselves in the running for big time trades. They were crafty enough, competitive enough, and good enough and had enough money to go and trade for Matthew Stafford. Same thing with Jalen Ramsey. Same thing with Myles Garrett. Les Snead, what a hell of a job. Him and McVay, definitely one of the best, if not maybe even the best GM head coaching duo right now in the NFL. And I don't have the odds in front of me right now, but I guarantee you the LA Rams are going to be quite the favorite to win the Super Bowl.
They are the favorite to win the Super Bowl. They are plus 600 right now. Second place is the Seahawks and the Bills at plus 1,000.
Yeah. That's a big gap, by the way. Plus 600 before the season even begins to win the Super Bowl is quite something. And then to be plus 400 better than the teams behind you, which, by the way, you say New England and Seattle were the second and third teams?
Buffalo and Seattle.
Buffalo and Seattle. I don't know if I'm making a Super Bowl future in the preseason, to be honest with you. I'll probably make one in the middle of the season.
Literally, it just changed to plus 550.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to update the page.
Yeah.
Just updated.
I bet money's coming in on them.
Yeah.
I think some people are going to be like plus 600. I mean, if you're a big enough futures better, you can find some value in that potentially. I'm not. I'm betting 20. I don't like having my money all locked up. I don't like having too much of my money locked up in futures. I'm pretty selective on it. And I like I don't like betting the favorite in futures. I really don't. And to me, that's not a point of the future. Plus 600 could be some good value. Very interesting trade for the Browns. We'll see how the money turns out. We'll see how much they have to end up paying on that contract or anything in that sort of regard. We'll have to see. I don't think they will, if I had to guess. It's balancing hey, you got good draft compensation, right? You got a very good young player in Jared Verse who has a very bright future in this league, but it's also managing are you ever really going to get a Myles Garrett again? Myles Garrett's, they do not grow on trees. They do not. Myles Garrett's are not a dime a dozen, right? That was the one thing I was really mad about being a Bears fan. The Bears were bad for so long, and they never were able to get that true pass rushing DN. They were never able to get that Khalil Mack type or the Jadeveon Clowney type or the Myles Garrett type. They just were never bad enough during a draft where they were in that position. And by the way, the only time they were truly bad enough to get that type of stud DN was when Myles Garrett got drafted. Garrett went number 1 overall to the Browns. The Bears drafted second that year. They took Mitchell Trubisky to be their quarterback, which that was such a nightmare. But I don't know with the Browns. It's good compensation. It's a good player you're getting back. You're just not going to get another Myles Garrett. You're just not going to get another guy like that. He is such a freak. He is just a different type of athlete, a different type of football player. And for them to just be in the position where it really just boils for the Browns, man, it really just boils down to not being able to figure out that QB spot. That defense they had last season was good enough to win a Super Bowl. That defense last year was good enough to win a Super Bowl. The defense has been pretty good to win, to be super competitive in the playoffs. And they've invested in weapons like David Njoku was a really good investment. They've traded for guys like Odell Beckham Jr. They acquired Jarvis Landry. Like they've had some interesting pieces. I mean, Quinshon Judkins, he's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, he is a legitimate ball player. Like it's just one of those things where they never figured out that quarterback position, and the quarterback position was either hurt or bad. Their QB was either terrible or they weren't playing. And, the one time they were competitive, it took Joe Flacco to be their quarterback and to make them good and to make them, I'm pretty sure they made a playoff game with Flacco, if I'm not mistaken. So it's one of those things where it's like, if they were ever to figure out that QB position, they would be a legitimate threat in the AFC. They never did, and because of that, they had to trade Myles Garrett. Where if I'm a Cleveland Brown fan, or if I was a media member who covered the Cleveland Browns, I would be irate right now. I would be irate. I would be irate just because I'm like, and I wouldn't be irate in terms of what you got back. I think what they got back is great. I think what they got back is phenomenal. I would just be irate that my team had a generational defensive player who broke the record for most sacks in a season. And I had my head so far up my you-know-what that I could never figure out everything else around him to make us competitive enough to win playoff games. That's what I would be irate.
You bet on a quarterback, and you bet on that quarterback.
In the manner in which they bet on him, too.
Yeah.
By giving him an unprecedented, fully guaranteed contract. I would be very upset if I was a Browns fan. And it would have nothing to do with what I got in return.
Mhm.
It would just have everything to do with the principle that I had a bona fide Hall of Famer. A guy who Myles Garrett could end up being one of the greatest defensive players of all time. Not just a Hall of Famer. Dion always talked about it. How he's like, there's different tiers of Hall of Famers. He's like, I wish we had different colors of jackets because my gold jacket ain't your gold jacket. You know, there's a difference between when Eli Manning gets his gold jacket and when Deion Sanders has his gold jacket, right? There's different levels even within the Hall of Fame. He is on the path, maybe even arguably already there, to be a tier 1 Hall of Famer.
And, maybe the Browns can use that draft pick to find their quarterback of the future because they're going to have to do it on the cheap.
Well, now they're going to be really bad this year. They're going to be really, really bad this year. They'll have a high enough draft pick in of itself to go and draft one of these 2027 quarterbacks, which, by the way, Todd McShay released his 2027 offensive weapon primer today.
Oh,
can't wait to dive into that after the show. Be great. I'm very excited.
How are you going to run the ball on the Los Angeles Rams this year?
What's their D line looking like right now?
It's Garrett,
yeah,
Turner, and was it Fisk?
Yeah. He was the Florida State guy.
Yeah, and then obviously,
don't they have Poona Ford still on that
obviously
team?
one more on this D line.
What do you mean one more on the?
Well, there'd be a fourth.
Oh, sure.
Occasionally, right?
I think there's Poona Ford. Do they still have Poona Ford on their team? Poona Ford's or no, I think he's on the Chargers now. Almost. Let's see. Poona Ford. No, I think he's on the. I think he's still on. Yeah, Poona Ford's still on the Rams. That's one hell of a line. That's one hell of a roster. That is an insane roster. Now we got to see what happens with Puka Nacua, right? He's going through his own personal stuff. Hopefully he ends up, for the better and gets himself right. But considering that, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Matthew Stafford, Blake Corum, who underrated, by the way, had a really sneaky, solid second half of the season last year. Started looking like the guy that you saw in Ann Arbor, Michigan, running all over Big Ten teams. Blake Corum, Kyron Williams on the defensive side. Now you add Myles Garrett with Quinnen Lake, with you also have Trent McDuffie, who you traded for. You brought up Fisk. He's a really good defensive lineman too. Like I mentioned, Poona Ford, very, very solid. They got a really good. I mean, the secondary was a problem. And they went out and they addressed it. And then they said, you know what? Let's just go and get a game breaker. Let's go and get a game record. Let's go and get the difference maker. And they, Jared Verse still a very good player, but what a trade for the LA Rams, who are now the favorite. Already were the favorite before this trade for the Super Bowl. Now they are definitely the favorite and rising right before our eyes, quite literally. Went from plus 600 to plus 550 right in these next couple of minutes. So we'll see what the full trade details are for Myles Garrett, but some fun breaking news on a June 1st where we thought we would get a massive trade elsewhere in the NFL. The Rams really go for it. And they only had to give up one first round pick to get Myles Garrett. How about that?
It's a motivated seller.
One first round pick for Myles Garrett. Granted, Jared Verse pretty great. Not as good as Myles Garrett. Right. Let's take a break here and we'll get to I want to get to some NBA basketball real quick. But the NFL, did you hear Russell Wilson too? Going to be an analyst? I'll get your thoughts on that coming up next here on Middays with Matt. blockbuster in the NFL. Juju Smith-Schuster going to the New York Giants. What a massive pickup for the Big Blue.
Jackson Dart with another target.
They got the 2018 Pro Bowl team out there in New York. They picked up Odell Beckham Jr. as well. Can you imagine having the New York Giants at one point could have had Russell Wilson, Odell Beckham Jr., Juju Smith-Schuster, and Jameis Winston all on the same roster.
This is brand new information to me. I didn't know that.
That's crazy. That is absolutely wild. Yeah, Odell going back to New York. I didn't even know he was still playing football.
I was going to say, has he played football since that Super Bowl?
I don't know. A lot of weird. Okay, I knew June 1st was like, all right, mark of the new year, everything like that. All right, let's get things going. Man, this has been a crazy day. Russell Wilson also too. Feel bad for him. He basically retires, right? I mean,
You feel bad for Russell Wilson?
I'm just saying, like,
How is that possible?
This is a potential Hall of Fame quarterback, potential Hall of Fame quarterback in Russell Wilson. And his career basically, I mean, it's kind of over now. And then it's just like the third biggest news of the day. Like, oh, okay, whatever. He's going to CBS.
I welcome it being lower. CBS once again with a terrible studio hire.
Yeah. So, by the way, I asked Joey this. I'd love to get your opinion. Do you think they're going to go Russell Wilson panel, then to color commentator?
Yes, that's usually the way they do it on CBS. They go, oh, this guy doesn't fit here.
Joey thinks that they're going to kick Romo out.
I don't know how you do it.
They're going to kick Romo out, and they're going to move JJ up to team 1.
Whoa.
And then put Russell with Iron Eagle.
Oh, just demote him.
Just get rid of Tony. Yeah.
Okay.
Just see it. So, have him do the panel show. Probably be good at a panel show, honestly.
Tony Romo, that's a lot of money for a panel guy.
How much money is he making? I don't even know.
Like $25 million a
year.
Good
God.
Yeah.
Goodness. That's way too much money.
Tony Romo earns a salary of approximately $18 million as the lead NFL color analyst for CBS Sports.
By the way, funny enough, Myles Garrett was in 3 playoff games in his career in Cleveland. They went 1-2. The game they played against Kansas City at Kansas City is probably one of the best Romo moments ever. Do you remember that? Where wasn't it? I think it was Chad Henne. And they're like, look at the body language. Look at the body language. They're not snapping this ball. They're not going to snap this ball. They're not going. And then they went for it. He goes, whoa. Well, they did it. Andy Reid. Only Andy Reid.
I do remember this.
That was an all-timer Romo. Look at the body language. They're not going to snap it. Tommy texting.
Hi, Tommy.
Jameis Winston, OBJ, and Juju all on the same team. Get me some popcorn. And Scat, yeesh. Yes, Cam Scattaboo. People do forget about Cam Scattaboo.
Cam Scattaboo forgets about Cam Scattaboo.
I've set you up perfectly for that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, 3 playoff games for Myles Garrett in his career as a Cleveland Brown from the 3-1-0. It doesn't matter what great draft picks Cleveland gets from the Myles Garrett trade. They are so dysfunctional. That's what I'm saying. Like, straight up, you look at it, you're like, hey, good deal. Hey, Jared Verse, not bad. Pretty cool.
Feels
awesome
like
stuff.
one of those places, right?
You know? But at the same time, you're like, you really had to get rid of him? You really, like, you were that dysfunctional, you had to get rid of him? Speaking like somebody who should never be getting rid of, and if you're not able to win an NBA title or multiple NBA titles with this guy, I don't know what you're doing. Victor Wembanyama has the potential to be the greatest player of all time. I'm going to get it out right now.
That's an insane take.
I'm going to get it out right now.
How could you say that?
He has the potential to be the greatest player of all time. Here's why. Because here's the one thing that Mike had, that MJ had, that LeBron didn't. Mike was drafted into an organization that had a good general manager. Say what you want about Jerry Krause. He was good being a GM. He knew what he was doing. He had a good GM, and then they brought in the right coach and Phil Jackson. Mike had the team where they knew how to build it. They knew how to build around him, and they had a phenomenal coach. LeBron did not have that. LeBron got drafted into another dysfunctional Cleveland organization that did not have a good GM and did not have that Hall of Fame coach that could be there for quite a while. He had to go to that. LeBron had to go to Miami to get that with Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, right? Wemby was fortunate enough to be drafted into a phenomenal organization and to be paired with a coach who is the successor to arguably the greatest NBA coach of all time. One of them. I mean, not arguably, is one of the greatest NBA coaches of all time, and Greg Popovich. That's the difference. Like, Wemby has the height, the talent, the physicality, the shot to be great, but then at the same time, he was drafted into an organization that you go ahead and you're like, oh, they know what they're doing. They know. The San Antonio Spurs know how to build off of the cornerstone center because they've done it over and over and over again. David Robinson, Tim Duncan. Like, it's just a great organization he was drafted into, and he's a hell of a talent, and they're not going to mess that up. And that's really like, not only do you need the prerequisite of being an incredible player, but you also need the system and machine behind you in order to support you. Victor Wembanyama has that. I cannot wait until he turns heel in a couple of years.
You think that meant something to him Saturday night?
Dude, he's got, Josh, he also has all the things that like people are missing. Like, people miss the passion. People miss the killer instinct. People miss that attitude.
People miss the I hate that guy that I'm playing with. We are not friends just because we are coworkers. Like, he hates Chet.
The NBA has, the players are a lot about themselves, right? They're a lot about the brand. It's all about player empowerment. It's all about, the fashion walk to the locker room and, what clothes are you wearing and what are you doing at? Like, there's a lot of superstar celebrity type deals with the NBA. And I think that as that has become more and more common, people have yearned for the guy who goes, no, F you. I want to win.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn about what I'm wearing. I don't give a damn about how you look at me. I don't give a damn about being friends. Screw you. Screw this. I want to win, MFer. That's what I want. Victor Wembanyama hates Chet Holmgren's guts because Chet got an MVP in a game that Victor fouled out on. That's like Michael Jordan psycho level stuff.
If I am the Thunder, I am on the phone today. We have 6 first-round draft picks between this year and next year. Here, Milwaukee, you can have them all and Chet for Giannis.
All of them.
We need Giannis, and we need him yesterday.
He has the potential. He is on the right team with the right coach, with the right organization, and has, by the way, they have built around him perfectly. Vassell, Castle, Dylan Harper is a stud.
That team's only going to get better.
I know, right?
Over the next 5 years as those players age and come into their peaks. Like,
Carter Bryant's going to be one hell of a player, guys. Yeah. Like
Tarico nailed it. It's Wemby's West. Like,
it really is.
I don't know if the Thunder's window closed, but like, boy, it sure felt like a passing of the torch.
Ooh.
Now they might trade back and forth over the next few years.
Ooh, that's a great topics. Ooh, that's a good one. I got to think about that. Let's take a break. Did they pass the torch? Did they even have the torch? Some are asking.
Good question.
Let's talk about that in the 1620 Zone Radio Network. All right. Got a lot of different things to get hit before we get to Robin Wash It at 120.
Robin Wash It.
Wash it. Wash it's real good. Do 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 bo bo do 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 do. Ooh, baby, baby. Robin Wash It gonna do someone. Okay. You just mouth farting into the microphone. Is that what we're doing?
That's segment? Right. I went to school for broadcasting.
You know, you really are leaning into we're the most childish show on 1620 The Zone.
Look, everybody's got to have a lane.
That, and we're the most progressive show. People do forget about how progressive we are. Tune in every Thursday for This Week in Women's History. Also, tune in all week and enter into the Summer Sizzle giveaway. The Zone and Arby's are teaming up, our new favorite partner, Arby's. I just need them to, I'm going to try all the new things and everything like that, but can we get a side order for Matt of a beef and cheddar every time they come in? Like, I just want to, hey, Matt needs beef and cheddar, please. So good. That and extra Arby's sauce. But we should do that for the College World Series. Your top signature sauces for fast food. Arby's would be number one for me. Enter to win, and you could score a combo meal every week all summer long. That's 13 weeks of hot, delicious wins. No cooking, no stressing, just sizzling bites on us and Arby's. Enter now at 1620thezone.com and make this your tastiest summer yet. Let's go to the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Denver Broncos Eric is waiting. Eric, how are you?
Hey, man, you know what the funniest part about the New York Giants wide receiver core is?
What is that?
Malik Neighbors probably ain't going to be back this year.
Yeah, I've been reading about the injury and his recovery. It's going to be tough, and he also, an injury that's serious, especially for a speedy wide receiver like Neighbors, is always a concern. You know, you can kind of have the same conversation about Tank Dell. Is he going to return to form from a nasty injury that he got a couple seasons ago?
Well,
so you're right.
Went ahead and went and got old man Odell and freaking Juju, and had to come in and play for Neighbors.
Had a good draft, though. It'll be interesting to see how they use Arvell Reese on the defensive end. I already got a guy who's sort of similar to Arvell Reese and Abdul Carter, who everyone knows he's been in the news around the New York Giants a lot with him and Jackson Dart and everything like that. But yeah, it'll be an interesting roster that they have.
Has the AJ Brown trade gone down yet?
Let me look at the Twitter machine here. As of right now, no, it has not. I do think, though, Eric, after the Rams have now traded their 2027 draft pick to the Browns for Myles Garrett, I think it's almost a guarantee at this point A.J. Brown is going to the New England Patriots. The Rams are really the only other team that were somewhat competitive in trying to get Brown from the Eagles, but now they've kind of put their chips in a different pot, and I think that is going to go to New England.
I just don't believe that A.J. Brown's got enough to just carry that team on his back by himself.
Yeah, it's going to be I believe they still might. We got to dig. Stephon Diggs had a really good season last year. I think that was kind of an underrated storyline that not enough people talked about. I don't know if he's currently signed to them or not. But yeah, I mean, AJ going to New England would be very interesting. Be very nice of them to go and get another weapon for Drake May. But we'll see. I mean, the schedule for New England really heats up this year, and they're going to be challenged.
I got two more things for you, boss.
Yeah.
First of all, living in Omaha, Nebraska all my life, I am a diehard San Antonio Spurs fan. Let's go get a championship, baby.
Absolutely. And one more thing.
Mr. Miller will be back in Denver very soon.
Okay. Good to know.
For post-June 1 and everything, and they're trying to work out the contract for a 1-year kind of minimum thing.
Okay.
Just for him to mentor everyone else that's there.
Von Miller, like post Denver Broncos, has had actually a very sneaky, productive career even after he was at his peak, right? I mean, where everyone knows everything that he accomplished. I mean, Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer, Von Miller, without a doubt. But even after, like, he had a little bit of a decline, but he is still a very effective pass rusher for Buffalo all these years.
I only need him for about a third of the snaps a game. So,
how do you feel about your chances in the AFC? Do you think it's your time here? Or who are you worried about? Buffalo and who else?
Hey, if Bo is back and he's healthy and everything's cool with the ankle, I don't see like who's going to stop us. I really don't.
Well, I think Buffalo's they got a pretty damn good team. I don't know if I'd go that far in terms of who's going to stop us, but outside of Buffalo, you have some other teams that I have some question marks on other teams for sure. Like I don't think I feel much better about Denver than I do the Ravens or the Chargers or the Chiefs or the Steelers or really anybody outside of Buffalo in the AFC East. Like if I were you, outside of the Bills, I feel pretty damn good about my team.
Yeah, I was actually checking. I have a family member that lives in Vegas that was going to put a little money down for me as soon as I get the right numbers.
Okay, well, good to know. Thank you, Eric. Let us know when you make that bet. You too. Speaking about bets, Brendan Sorsby, he's supposed to have his injunction hearing in Lubbock County Court today. So no news has come up on that, at least that I've seen. Did you read about? There's an AP article that I read about. There was more details that came up about his bets that he was making.
Turn my mic on. I haven't. No.
Okay, so there has been more that's revealed about the Brendan Sorsby situation. The only reason we talk about it is just because it's supposed to June 1st is supposed to be the date where we find out if he gets that injunction potentially, and then if he doesn't, then he's not going to play NCAA football this year, and then he would go into the NFL supplemental draft, which I believe the deadline for him to declare for the supplemental draft is June 21st. This was released. It was an Athletic article, and then I'm reading the summarized AP version of it. But according to an agreed upon stipulated facts included in court documents, Sorsby made at least 2,900 bets totaling in more than $30,000 while he was at Indiana from June 2022 through December 2023. Those included at least 40 bets on the Hoosiers games and players. Though he didn't bet on any games in which he played it, there were at least 40 more bets on Indiana men's basketball and approximately 300 bets on college football games unrelated to Indiana during that span. Here's where it gets more interesting. He continued betting after transferring to Cincinnati, though not on the Bearcats, and though he did not bet on the Bearcats, he started using accounts that weren't in his name. The documents show that between December 25th, 2023 and June 23rd of 2025, Sorsby provided more than $60,000 to a friend to deposit into a FanDuel account registered to his brother-in-law that was shared by Sorsby and a friend. Since transferring to Texas Tech, an estate where betting online is illegal, Sorsby sent approximately $5,000 through Venmo or Zelle to other individuals who placed bets on his behalf. Texas Tech announced on April 27th, about 2 weeks after being notified by the NCAA that the 22-year-old Sorsby was taking an indefinite leave of absence to enter a residential treatment program for his gambling addiction.
I'm ready to rule on this.
The Honorable.
He will not play college football ever again.
God, no.
And no one will want him in the NFL supplemental draft. UFL or Canada, here he comes.
That's the spicy one, ain't it?
Because that's
bad.
That's a lot.
That's bad.
That if I'm an NFL team, especially looking at a quarterback, you have to be above board in every way, right? Like,
here's the most the damning part about it in a way. The going through other people, opening up different accounts with different names, the Venmoing, other people to make bets. It's an indication that he knew what he was doing. He wasn't allowed to do.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. It's not just, obviously the rules are the rules and you broke the rules, but it's another step forward of, okay, now I'm finding out ways to get around the rules that I know I'm actively breaking. Okay.
And if I'm a GM of an NFL team, I can't have that. Like,
yeah, like Sith hits it perfectly. This is what I'm saying, Sith. Sith writes, going through other people shows what you are doing. Absolutely. He absolutely knew what he was doing. He absolutely knew I can't be doing this. And he's opening up other accounts with different names and Venmoing and, having other buddies make bets for him and stuff like that. That ain't good, man. That is not good. Mike writes in, Bet-Free Mike. He knows more about this stuff than any of us. He might have also been going through illegal books. Who's to say, man?
Sure.
Who's to say he wasn't doing that stuff as well?
Yeah, I am not not good on any
part.
You can come out and say, I've done the treatment, I'm ready to work, I'm ready to pay for my sins. Well, part of paying for your sins is you are going to hope you got that degree, because you're going to need that fallback plan.
Isn't that funny though too, looking back? It's always funny, like, this has been a bad PR year for some people in sport.
Mm-hmm.
There's been some really bad PR handling. The original argument for Sorsby from Texas Tech, do you remember? Sorsby they were like, they're weaponizing his mental health issue.
Right.
They're weaponizing it. They're using it against him. They're taking advantage of everything that's happening. And like, they tried to paint Sorsby as this troubled, victim of the system, and the NCAA is hypocrites. Like, they really, really tried to paint him in a light where it's like, he's just a kid and he's got a problem, and, we're helping it figure it out. And then you read this stuff and you're like, nah, it doesn't sound like a guy like who was who didn't know what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. Kenneth goes, serious question, Matt. Do people your age even have bookies anymore? I know a couple guys who
are bookies or have bookies?
Have bookies.
Okay.
I knew kids who had bookies. I knew kids who had bookies my freshman year of college, and they had. Whoa. Now there was, I definitely knew one kid who had to call a guy, and then I knew other kids who had, like, it was through a device, like it was through an online like website. There was like a way you opened up an account with somebody, like you paid somebody up front, and then they opened up the account, and then you can make the bets through the website. I didn't know that.
I don't mean to make light of this,
Go
but
ahead.
This sounds like a subplot, like the C story on like a season of Euphoria, where one of the kids becomes a bookie and just gets way in over his head, and then the mob is like, "Hey, you're trying to be a bookie on my turf?"
I'll tell you right now, if I wanted a bookie, I could make a call and through people get myself a bookie. To answer PC's question, I could.
Fascinating.
I could do that if I wanted to, or sorry, if I had yeah. If I don't want to say that, like, if I wanted to, I could have a bookie. Like, I have a bookie
right now. I'll get him.
Yeah. I'm not
Wacky Guess Wednesday. I'll get you a bookie.
No. I'm not bragging or anything like that. I'm just answering PC's question. Do kids your age have bookies?
Sure.
Yes, they do. If I wanted to get a bookie, I could go and do that. Like, I could go do that. Mike goes, the illegal books are dangerous. Basically, MLMs that issue credit. Yeah, I mean, it was really popular my freshman year of college, because I think at that point, my freshman year of college, I don't think you could gamble yet in Nebraska. I don't think you could. You can't online sport bet. Well, you can make picks now online in Nebraska. You can't necessarily have an online sport book. People know the language better than I do, but yeah, it was really popular my freshman year of college. If kids had bookies, I knew a lot of. I knew close to a dozen kids my age who had bookies freshman year of college.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
A whole club sports team, if you will. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. If you know me, you know which one I'm talking about. So PC goes, I have better luck getting real money down with bookies than legal at this point. Kind of sucks. I mean, it's just.
Wasn't I supposed to be able to go to the place and make a bet? And
I will say,
as long as it wasn't Husker football,
at least from my perspective, right? Being like, I went from Nebraska and I took a trip to Denver. Okay. And in Nebraska, you have to drive to Horseshoe, or you drive to Warhorse, or if you're me, you drive to Prairie Flower Casino. The Prairie Flower Casino's on Hotline. And you go and you make a bet, right? And you actively have to get in your car, turn the key, drive there, make the bet.
Sure.
And for me, that worked. Like, if you're trying to limit gambling, it worked, because I'm like, I'm making one trip, right? I'm making one trip here, and then I'm coming back. And if I have a live bet I want to make, or like a game that I'm like, oh, the line, I'm not getting back in my car and driving back. Like, I'm making one trip. When I was in Denver, and you could bet on your phone online in Denver, it was so much easier to go, oh, I could add $20 more. I could add $40 more. Oh, I'm going to make this live bet. Yep. Oh, I lost way more money in Denver gambling than I ever did in Nebraska.
I went to my brother-in-law's house one Thanksgiving, and he lives in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I'm in Iowa. I can just if I've
want.
got a hunch, I can just go for it." Luckily, I won that night, but I said, "Oh, maybe I don't want this to be easily. Maybe driving to Iowa and sitting in a parking lot somewhere is not the worst thing in the world for me."
Can I be real with you? There are more times where I'm like, God, when I'm not even going to make a bet. Like I'm just gonna. And I, if you were to tell me, Matt, would you rather have like because I like the sport bet? Like, yeah, I would much rather be able to do it on my phone. I really would be. I would like the convenience of being able to do that. But if you're going off of if your goal is like, oh, making people drive to the casino is going to make them bet less, well, then yeah, that's I actively bet less because I can't do it on my phone. Like, so take that as you will. Real quick before we
do that, let me just get this out here. Bet free Mike. I hope we did the topic justice.
Oh yeah,
for you.
Seriously.
If not, tell us where we were wrong. We'll read your email on the air.
1,000,000%. I think we were right. We're pretty. You and I are pretty good about this. We know what we're talking about. Real quick, we want to go ahead and give a team clap to Omaha baseball. They've signed their new head coach, Rob Fournier, who was formerly with Western Kentucky, doing some great PR. Always love the people over at Omaha, Jordan Sarnoff, the whole athletic department, the communications crew. Promoting Coach Fournier in his new job, 26th season as a head coach, 1,109 victories, all at Wabash Valley College. He has 2 junior college Division I Baseball World Series appearances in 2017 and 2022, 4 seasons as an assistant coach / recruiting coordinator at Western Kentucky. When he was at Wabash Valley College, 390 student athletes went on to go to Division I programs under Coach Rob Fournier. So congratulations, Omaha. Congratulations, Coach. Look forward to hopefully having him on here. Middays with Matt. Great hire by Omaha. Kudos. One more team clap. Great job. Great job. This has been a great show. It's going to get even better. Robin Washington coming up next here on the 1620 Zone Radio Network. He is the writer for Husker Online and On3, but probably most notably, a New York Giants fan. Robin Washut joins us here on Middays with Matt. Robin, I've met a lot of New York Giants fans in the Nebraska/Omaha/Lincoln area. Do you know why? Can you guess as to why that is? I know, like, including you, like 6 different people who are Giants fans. You have any guesses as to why?
Well, just people that grew up in a time where the Giants used to be cool and good, and we just haven't found it in ourselves to give up on them just yet. So we're still hanging on, hoping that the glory years return someday.
You have any thoughts on picking up guys and making the 2019 Pro Bowl team with Juju Smith-Schuster and Odell Beckham Jr.? Any comment on that with the Giants' moves today?
And they're immediately better than anybody else we had. We had a hurt Malik Neighbors coming back. We'll see where he is.
Yeah.
You gave away Wandale, who was our number 1 wide receiver last year, to the Titans. You brought back Darius Slayton, who like volleyball spikes any pass thrown to him directly into the ground. And beyond that, and then they had Jalen Hyatt, who can run really fast, but doesn't know how to run any other route except a straight line.
Yeah. You guys like drafting those guys. You love those guys.
Yeah. Any of those guys are immediate upgrades, even if they are like my age running around out there.
Fair enough. Fair enough indeed. I mean, might be a sneaky defense team, though. I mean, defense could be pretty good. A lot of talent on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, like the bar's so low, like it can't get much worse, right? So what are we going to do? Have another top 5 draft pick? Oh, no. So, like, I think anything that they're trying right now, trust Harbaugh, because it's got to be better than what we've had.
Optimistic Giant fan, Mr. Robin Washut. Do you think that Russell Wilson's going to be good as a panel host? You have any take on that?
Oh, it'll be super boring and weird. Like he's gonna just say like really awkward things in a really like uncomfortable way. That's just gonna, it'll be good for like clips on social media, but beyond that, he's a weird guy.
A very strange dude indeed. A very, very strange dude, Russell Wilson. Let's talk about Nebraska basketball. That is obviously your beat. We're the expert on that. London Dada goes to Creighton. That was a guy that Nebraska in the 2027 recruiting class had their eye on. Unfortunately for them, he goes to the Blue Jays. Very interesting, just because I think, very early on, Robin, there was a bit of a struggle in terms of developing high school talent for Fred Hoiberg and his staff. In the last couple of years, that's turned around, right? Sam Hoiberg developed into a hell of a player. Kel Jacobson, very important, coming out of Ashland Greenwood. Braden Frager has developed from high school into a very effective player, one of the best players, one of the top 50 players in the country, according to the field of 68. How have you seen Nebraska's strategy and development through the 7 years of Fred Hoiberg kind of evolve and change? And now they got 2 good ones coming in with Lanier and Rice.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is getting guys that are willing to stick around. Sam doesn't get better if he's not here for 5 years playing for his dad. Same thing with Kale. Like, Kale is a much different player now than he was. And, that only happens when you are willing to stick around, wait your turn, put in the work to get to that point, and you see the results of that. And, Braden Frager, even though he's, just going into his, I guess, 3rd year here, that first year he was willing to, reclassify up, basically skip out on his senior high school season and spend an entire year working in behind the scenes and, developing his game, his body, and, trying to, mature and just kind of get the mental grasp of the game. And you saw the benefits of that. So, it's just kind of a reminder that there used to be a time when that was the norm, when guys would grind it out and develop and wait their turn and grow within a system and eventually reap the rewards of that. Anymore, that's harder and harder to find, just given the kind of instant gratification nature of college sports. But there are still examples, and Nebraska's got a few of them, of guys that are willing to kind of go the traditional route. And while it might not bring a lot of personal glory early, the rewards usually come tenfold if you do the time and put in the work.
So we saw last week that he had Tyler Tanner, Andrei Stojakovic, Flory Badunga, John Blackwell, to name a few guys, all opting out of the NBA draft and deciding to return to college. Some of them, like Milan Momcilovic, are going to end up getting paid a lot of money to play college basketball. And we've seen in the past, Robin, that, about 10 years ago, it was a no-brainer if you were going to be in the second round pick to go into the NBA draft and try and make money right away. But now that we're in the era that we're in with NIL, you can make plenty of money, way more money returning to college than you can as being a second round pick in the NBA draft. Overall, how big of a benefit, if at all, in your opinion, is this for the quality of college basketball?
Oh, it's changed it. I mean, college basketball, just from a talent perspective, hasn't been this good maybe since the 90s.
Wow.
Just because of the ability to retain your stars, where you're not just getting guys actually playing until their junior or senior years. But the other element too is you're bringing in international players. So you're getting some of the best players around the globe coming to play major college basketball. And I think that's inherently just taken the product of college basketball to a new level that we haven't seen in a long time. The players are better. The coaching is as good as it's been, probably across the board. And that's created a product that, as far as I'm concerned, is as good as it's been in decades. And so, there's a lot to complain about with the NIL world and, just the way that it's changed college sport as we know it. But I do think that there are positives. And I think the ability to retain elite talent, especially in college basketball, and keep guys in the game for 3, 4, 5 years, that kind of raised all boats and made just the top to bottom brand of college basketball, taking it to a really high level. And I think everybody, from a fan perspective, just from the quality of what they're watching, is kind of in being able to enjoy what NIL has allowed college basketball to become.
It's funny. Like, you look at some teams like Duke and Kentucky and, the one and done schools, right, where they're getting the top of the line prospects. But for a team like Nebraska, you think, right, that this kind of new era of retention definitely stands to benefit a team like Nebraska, just because Nebraska really isn't getting those top overall guys who obviously wouldn't come back to college, right?
Yeah, I mean, they have to go a different route, and being able to identify guys that fit. That's the big word Fred Weber uses every offseason is fit on and off the court. So that's where it starts, and then like we talked about earlier, it's the developmental piece where you're taking guys that have this potential and getting it to actually realize itself. Where you're taking Price Stanford and turning him from a spot shooter, rotational guy at Iowa into a first-team All-League player. You're taking Braden Frager, who was an unheralded 3-star from your own backyard, getting him to redshirt and develop for a year, and then all of a sudden he's the Big Ten Sixth Man of the Year. So that's the model Nebraska is going to have to follow to keep up, just because of the nature of the money of the game and of the Big Ten Conference, where they've got more money than they've ever had at their disposal for roster construction, but they're still playing some pretty significant catch up with teams in their own league.
Yeah.
So the only way that you can combat that and try to shrink that gap a little bit is by following, different routes. And again, I think that the focusing on the team as opposed to assembling individual talent is kind of the direction that Fred identified a few years ago. And that goes with, getting the right culture, getting guys that are about the right things. And then on the court, getting, as good of specific pieces that fit what you want your system to be and who will allow that system to flourish. That's kind of the 3-step model for them. And you saw the results of kind of where that path has taken them. And, it's hard to sustain that because you're going to have to take some risks and hope that you get some lotto tickets on some of these guys, but it shows that it can work. It is attainable, and in an era of college athletics where it seems like the rich are pulling further and further away from everybody else, at least Nebraska shows that there is a path to stay relevant, stay competitive, and build yourself as a program despite some of the resources you might be lacking compared to other schools.
Well, I think that's very well put. And you look at what Nebraska did, maybe not as flashy as other teams, right, in the transfer portal. And like you mentioned, there are some teams that they're competing against where Nebraska doesn't have the pocketbook to pay John Blackwell $6 million. Some teams do, right? Same thing with this Monchilovich guy. But you look at Nebraska, like, I'm very curious, and maybe it's too early to ask you this question, Robin. So, I apologize in advance potentially here, but you look at what they did, you basically kind of know what their roster is going to look like for the most part. Do you have expectations? Are you building expectations right now heading into next season for Nebraska basketball? Is this when you start thinking about, all right, what you think they should end up accomplishing? Do you have that yet?
To an extent, just because there are so many known commodities coming back, or at least some big dominoes in that conversation. Where you have Price, you have Braden, you have Cale, you have guys that have been in the program that kind of are hopefully going to be able to kind of carry on what last year's team did. But again, last year a lot of things that had to go right for them went right, and you can never predict that you're going to get those bounces, that you're going to find your way to a 20-0 start that completely changes the entire conversation of your season and the trajectory of your program. That's hard to replicate, but I do think that the foundation is there for Nebraska to at least have a chance to be in a similar conversation as they were a year ago. Now, are they going to be top 10 in the country again? I don't know. I mean, that's a lot to ask, just because it's a hard thing to do that Nebraska hasn't done a lot of. But I do think that getting to the tournament, especially with the expanded field now more than ever, that is certainly an attainable goal. Winning a game, multiple games in the NCAA tournament is certainly an attainable goal. So, I think that the bar that they set last year, again, what last year was, I don't think you go in trying to just like repeat what you did a year ago. This is a new group. While you have some familiar faces, they're going to be a different team. They're going to do some different things. But I think that, again, you go back to that foundation of culture and identity that they've spent the last 4 or 5 years trying to get to. That is what you lean on, trying to take that next step after a historic, unprecedented season. So they're going to rely on some new pieces to have to come in and, like I said, be the players that Nebraska hopes they can be. And until we actually see how this new group handles on-court adversity when it actually matters in games and the pressure's on, you can only project so much. But I do think that culture is going to go a long way in keeping Nebraska in that national discussion, maybe more than they've been in quite some time.
Well, I love the use of the word of foundation. I think it is definitely very encouraging of the fact that they looked at their team and said, hey, we lost this guy. We're going to replace him with this guy who reminds us a lot of him, right? We're going to we lost a 4 who could shoot the 3. Okay, we know what we can do, and we know how we need to win in this conference right now. Let's go and get a 4 who can shoot just like that guy. That's what I think encourages me the most. They have a mold, right? They have a model, and it seems like they are following that model, which if you're going to repeat success and you're going to have consistent success, that's how you do it. You go, that worked. Let's try that again. Robin Washut, you are one of the best. We appreciate you coming on every week. We will talk to you soon, my friend.
Sounds good, man. Talk to you later.
Talk to you, Robin. I mean, it's going to be, this will definitely be heading into, and follow me here, heading into the year, the best team that Fred has had. Okay? We didn't have these no one expected Nebraska to win 28 games, be at one point the 5th-ranked team in the country, and go to the Sweet 16, right? I love that Rothstein tweet from months ago, right, from the beginning of that season, where he goes, hey, they're 11-0. They're going to be a bubble team, right? That that was the expectation for Nebraska basketball heading into it, that they were going to be around the NCAA combo, right? And it ended up being a beautiful, magical season that unfortunately ended in the Sweet 16, losing to Iowa, but still a massive accomplishment and a historical 28-win year. Heading into the season, I don't think anyone is expecting them to repeat what they did. I'm not going to go into the year expecting them to win 28 games and at one point be in the top 5 and finish the year ranked 14th. But the expectations definitely have been higher probably than what they've ever been for Fred Hoiberg. It'll be very interesting to see how his coaching staff, and how this roster handles it coming off of an incredible year, an incredible season. And they had a good portal. They had a good portal. They didn't have a great portal, but they had a good portal. PC goes, I'm just hoping everyone can count to 5 on this year's squad.
Oh, no.
Hey, what tournament was Creighton in? PC. Fight fire with fire.
Crown. A very legitimate
A
basketball
very
tournament.
legitimate basketball tournament. That the 76-team NCAA tournament, definitely not great for the crown.
The last crown?
The final crown. The final king. I don't even know who won the crown. Who won the
Who
crown?
did win the crown?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Who won?
I know it wasn't Creighton.
Imagine not winning the crown.
Imagine not
No,
winning
I
the
don't know. I
crown.
don't care about the crown finale.
Is that
West
a TV show?
Virginia.
West Virginia, go Mountaineers.
It spurned them to an incredible baseball run.
I would love to see the Mountaineers in the College World Series. That would
That'd
be
be fun.
fun. That would be a good time.
I hope their fans would travel. I'm not sure, but
I'm not sure either. I do know we have a friend who went to West Virginia who's a massive West Virginia fan who would stay at my place if they were to make the tournament.
it'd be one of those in the bucket for new blood. We like that.
Yeah, I like that too. We're getting a pretty good, like I'm looking at the field and the potential teams that could end up coming to Omaha. Pretty decent.
Gonna feel a little different.
Now, who's going to be the weird team that all the Omahans rally around?
Little Rock and or Troy.
Cal Poly?
Maybe Cal Poly.
Everybody loves Cal Poly.
Boy, they would get like 6 Jello shots on the board and like, yeah, we'll take that. That's fine. That's more than we thought we'd get.
Can you be too small to
Yeah.
get the sympathy Jello shots? Because Murray State got some Jello shots last year.
Yeah.
They got some legit Jello. By the way,
Stanford, whenever Stanford's here, they get like a sad 20 on the board.
I don't know. Well, that's embarrassing because it's like they're not small enough. I
Right.
don't know if I think it's out there, especially if you've traveled, but Rocco's and Lefty is going to look different this College World Series. They're going to have a kind of a different setup in terms of how you're going to order food and order drink and stuff like that. Talk to some of those guys over there. They also have a garage door now that connects Lefties and Rocco's that they will have open for the College World Series. So that will be something. That'll be something. It'll be a new year over there by Charles Schwab Field. Should be a very good time. Don't forget to get your Jello shots, I guess.
Milwaukee.
You know what? I'll tell you this right now. You get some Wisconsinites here in Nebraska, they tear it up.
Right?
They would tear it up. Say what you want about people from Wisconsin. They can put them down.
7.5 hour drive.
They can put them down. I grew up with those people. They are wild. They will have a great time in the city if they make it. Go Cougars, right? Or Panthers?
Panthers.
Damn it, I always mess that up.
We got time to learn.
We have time to learn during this break when we tell you what to watch tonight in our dog of the day here on the 1620 Zone Radio Network. couple of things here before we go ahead and tell you what to watch. Number one, we have to remind you to go to 1620thezone.com, okay, because we have a bunch of phenomenal different online contests. The Black Keys, the Yachtly Crew, the Young Giant, Chris Stapleton, Burt Kreischer. Enter there for the potential to win your way to those great shows. And we also want to remind you that we have a fun night out, Funplex. You can grab your crew, level up with some summer plans, VIP Friends Night Out giveaway. You can score 6 tickets to Nights at the Bay at Funplex, a private cabana, on $100 to party in style on select Saturday nights at the Funplex Water Park. It transforms into the high energy dance party with Nights at the Bay. So go to 1620zone.com for potential to win your way to Funplex. 2 more things. Andrew Berry, general manager of the Cleveland Browns, has said that nothing is final with the Myles Garrett trade. Nothing is final at this point. We are in discussions of a potential trade. Even though ESPN has made a graphic, the NFL has made a graphic, it's out there. Andrew Berry, the GM of the Browns, has said nothing is final.
Could be a real Max Crosby situation. We don't know.
Seriously. Maybe they're just trying to put it out to see how people would react. And finally, Pete Thamel has reported the injunction case lasted 2 hours for Brendan Sorsby. We will find out in about 1 to 2 weeks whether or not he will be granted an injunction.
1 to 2 weeks? Let's just do it now.
Allow him to play college football in 2026.
No, son, you're done.
Monitoring that situation. What are we watching tonight, Josh Johnson?
We're watching. He's going to be playing in a prison football league the next time he plays football. Like, dude's done. We're watching baseball. Giants Brewers at 6:40 on FS1. 6 game 7s tonight in college baseball.
Hell yeah.
Florida State trailing St. John's 5-2. I believe they're headed to the 8th inning in that one. Could the Big East have as many teams as the Big Ten in the super regionals? That would be awkward. Softball, Women's College World Series. Texas just beat Tennessee 5-1 earlier to force a winner to the finals game at 2:15 on ESPN between those two teams. Alabama versus Texas Tech at 6 o'clock tonight on ESPN. Texas Tech must win twice tonight, or Alabama will head to the finals. WNBA, Seattle versus Dallas tonight at 7 on USA. At 9 o'clock on Peacock, it is Lynx and Mercury, Matt.
Great job. I will be watching some of those things. Or Memento, maybe.
All right, folks, let's talk right now. I'm going to kill your bookmaker. I'm going to rip his throat out. I will blow this man out. I will step on his throat until the man chokes. Let me tell you how. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. I'm on a roll.
Dude, you got to love dogs, right?
All right. We're going to go with a weird dog. Because I like this guy. Big fan of Kerry Carpenter. Okay. Let's go with the Tigers. The Detroit Tigers. To beat the Tampa Bay Rays tonight. Plus 134.
Whoa.
That's what we're rolling. Tigers to upset the Rays.
That would be, I know it's baseball. Anybody can win on any given day, but like, whoa, that's an upset.
I'm 1-0 on my baseball bets.
Yeah, you are.
We're gonna roll with it. Go Tigers. Thank you for listening to Middays with Matt. We had a fun time with you today. Great show. We will talk to you tomorrow here on Da's Show. USC and the crossover coming up next.